All right, welcome to another
Hang on, Woody, I haven't introduced you yet. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hang on, I thought I did the introduction.
Yeah, but I'm introducing you.
But why can't I introduce you?
No, because I'm the MC guy introducing
No, hang on, whoa. How many weddings have you done?
Lady.
I just love that the camera's not on either of them.
I've done quite a few weddings.
Oh, so have I.
What weddings have you done?
I've done a few.
One time I forgot the parents of the bride. This little Asian guy runs all the way down the reception centre and says, "You forgot the parents of the bride. How do you get out of there?"
Well, the last one that I did, there was no script. It was a free will.
Yeah.
And I did something that I've never done ever. I opened it up. I opened the floor and I said, "Does anyone want to say anything?" And two people got up and made a quick joke and sat down.
Right. Is that your story, Woody?
I thought it sounded a lot better in my head.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you go.
Signore, ladies and gentlemen.
Buongiorno, come stai?
Live from the studios of Tardio Unleashed, Mr. Sean Woody Woodward.
All right, so that was good.
Yeah, how would you do it?
Well, I'd be like, now live from the studios of Tardio Unleashed, a man that has the golden tonsils in radio.
Woody, that shit
Take
out.
it away, Woody.
Woody, that is just shit
It
out.
went down the wrong hole.
You know, Seb, it's not too late to run.
And he's only got one esophagus.
No, I've got one vocal cord. So if that goes, we're all done. I thought about that the other day. I actually thought about if that got done, that's it. I can't speak.
Yeah, but you've only got one head as well, so if that gets done, you've got no head.
All right. Welcome to
introduce
another
everybody.
episode of Tardio Unleashed. Very exciting episode today. Always good to have the top hat himself, Simon Owens. How are you, Toppy?
Yeah, not bad. I'm surviving.
How's things?
Yeah, good.
That's good.
Yeah,
Have you
life
cried
is,
today?
Life is really good. Have I cried today? No.
sort of a question,
unusual
is
day. Oh, well, I'm a sook.
Yeah, because we talked about it last
I
episode.
know we did, but you just don't go up to somebody and say, "Have you cried today?"
Why not? He might need to talk about his feelings and get it out.
Right. Anyway, can you introduce the gentleman?
All right. Now, we are very fortunate. I'm very blessed. He's a dear friend of the show, dear friend of ours personally. He's someone that I admire and respect a lot, and I'm very excited to hear what he has to say about the world.
Why do you admire him?
Because he's tenacious,
He is tenacious.
he's thorough, he's
thorough.
professional,
He is professional.
he's informed,
He is
he's
informed.
quirky,
Oh, I don't know how quirky he is.
he's very
Can
quirky.
you let him say something?
And it's Sebastian Costello, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Woody. Tone, Simon.
Have you put your hand up for the Essendon gig yet?
Well, somebody put it to me today that the coach of Essendon,
You're going to coach Essendon.
no, but I'm hearing it's going to be a former champion, but not James Hird and not Dean Solomon.
They're bringing Sheedy back?
Yeah. Look, Kevin looks at Essendon the same way Jeff Kennett looks at the Liberal Party.
That is great.
He's quite happy that nobody has been any good since he left.
That is one of the great comparisons of all time.
That is marvellous.
Yes, it is a good comparison.
Actually, wasn't Sheedy employed to rev up the Libs a few years ago? Didn't he take him into
I
the
think
room?
he'd be employed to rev up anybody. He came out to university when I was there and gave us a bit of a rev up too.
Actually, there's a funny story about Kevin Sheedy and Neil Mitchell. I'm pretty sure, I'll have to get the story right. I'll ask Neil when I see him next. They both had bad knees at the same time and they both had the same physiotherapist.
Yeah.
And they had to go down to the park and they did fitness tests with each other.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 16, 17.
Interesting. The
That's
other
a true
connection
story.
between Sheedy and Jeff Kennett is you'd remember the 99 state election was on the same day as
I
the infamous
remember that
preliminary
Yeah,
final,
yep.
Carlton
And you were
Essendon.
working it.
Hey?
You were working that
I
night.
worked it.
I've got your news report.
Have you?
Yeah.
And the president of Essendon at the time, Graham McMahon, spent the day of this election and final in a medically induced coma in hospital.
You kidding?
Sorry, I should have laughed. Is that true?
Oh, wow.
So he was a great sort of leader of business. Graham McMahon was high up at Ansett, and he woke up at some time, I think, on the Sunday, and he says to his family, "So, how much did the Bombers win by?" And they said, "Oh, Graham,
They lost by.
we're sorry to say the Bombers are out and the Blues are into the grand final." And he apparently said, "Oh, well, at least Jeff won then." And they had to say, no, well, you've been gone. The Bombers are out of the finals and Steve Bracks is about to become the Premier.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It's unbelievable.
It was the biggest shock of, well...
Have you recovered since, personally?
What do you suggest?
Oh, look, it was only a half bad day for Tone.
What do you suggest? We've been through this a million times.
Your right wing heart would have been
No,
broken.
I'm not. I don't have a right wing heart. Anyway,
Do you have a heart?
Now, I actually brought something in for you, just to show you, because I'm still sort of impressed with how Tony absolutely snapped up the headline following Darren Hinch's funeral. I mean, I just said as soon as you did the eulogy and you revealed that Darren and Bette Midler had engaged him. Was it vertical samba or?
you don't do it vertically.
Oh, well, geez. Tell us more.
Tony, there's many ways. If you've not done it vertically, you're not living. But I think the expression...
Well, okay, the top hat. How many ways, Simon? Come on.
Oh, we're only here for an hour and a half.
Gee.
But I think the expression is
Sort of
horizontal.
wandered into Sally Coburn's show, I think.
It's horizontal folk dancing.
Well, no,
Yes.
I said
that what you said?
horizontal rumba.
Horizontal
Yes.
rumba.
I thought that sort of sounded better.
Did you get any feedback? Did sort of Bet's people say,
Well,
send you a legal letter or something?
I haven't heard from her. No.
Did your son give you any feedback, Damien?
No, other people connected to him said that I was a bit. I shouldn't have said all that.
I thought you spoke well.
No. Look,
But Tony, the only thing we owe the dead is the truth.
well,
The only thing history owes the dead is the truth. And Darren said that all the time.
Yep.
And I thought he'd get a kick out of it.
Well,
but I didn't realise, maybe I was stupid, but I just sort of put that in, not realising that it might have been a bit of a zinger or something. I just was the most natural thing in the world to say.
As the second I heard it, I said to Damien, your son, Tony has scored the headline today.
Yeah.
He's, that was the best anecdote. Anyway, so speaking of Darren, I don't know why I brought that. That's my daughter's puppet.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
You can, should we call that Ben Carroll? Here we go. That's for you, Tony.
You're upsetting Woody now, left wing Woody.
But speaking of
Here we
Hinchy-
go.
No?
I am not Dan Andrews. I am not Jacinta Allen.
Where's Pasquale? Get him in.
Pasquale, he's
Gone on holiday. Where is he?
He's in my office.
So anyway, and speaking of Darren, Darren was a novelist, as you know.
Yes.
So this is one of Darren's novels.
I think that's his first book.
Death in Paradise, which he gifted to me when I joined the show as a junior producer. And I'll give this to you, Tone, because there's a little inscription in here. Which,
He signed it, right.
did.
Well, he's given me a book called Coping. When I got sacked from 38W, he gave me a book called Coping, and he signed it. There you go. To Seb, welcome aboard, Darren. Oh, look,
lovely.
I appreciate
handwriting
your sentiment in giving it to me, but I think you should keep this.
Yeah, I
Seb.
think you should.
Yeah, I don't want to take it from you. I've already got Human Headline, a few other books that
Beautiful handwriting.
that he gave us.
He was he was my first full-time boss. At
Well, let's
3AW.
talk about Darren for a little while, because we all knew him. You worked with him. You worked with him. You used to go to lunch with him and stuff. So, Sebby, what's your memories?
Well, my memory is I arrived on the show with Shannon Reid, and the first thing I was told was rule number one on the Hinch program: anything you tell Darren will go to air.
Yes.
So I had to be very selective in what I told him. You know, you couldn't tell him.
In a way, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
Well-
he was just the conduit between information and the people out there, because he did believe that people, what he knew, everyone else had a right to know. What was the other rules? That,
Well, rule number two was that, and I sort of learnt this in the first week, was that Darren took a nap at 3 o'clock before his program
Really?
starting at 4.
What really?
And he would sleep on the couch, but also sometimes he would
On the
sleep
ground.
in the office at Bank Street, lying on the floor with his two legs, sort of ankles, pepped up on the desk.
Yeah.
So, with no warning to this, I remember walking in to tell him about a guest, and I thought he'd had a heart attack. I thought, am I going to do mouth to mouth? And he sort of cracked his eye open and said, I'll be there in a few minutes. But yeah, that was his thing. And we weren't to wake him because he would wake up at sort of 3:57, pack up his manila folder, and this is at the old Bank Street studio in South Melbourne, and sort of walk the rabbit warren from the production.
Because he was in the newer part of the building.
Yeah, at the back with Neil. And Neil and Darren both had closed. We didn't have glass windows on offices back then.
This is in Bank Street.
This is in Bank Street.
Yeah.
You could shut the door and nobody would know what was going on. Off he'd go and do the show.
Did they get on? They didn't get on, did they?
No. But I think that's what made it good because, if Neil, said something that Darren didn't like, we could have this wonderful game of radio tennis throughout the day.
And it was real.
Yeah.
It wasn't fabricated in any way. Right. So
He had the same relationship with Mark Day back when Darren was doing mornings and Mark Day was doing drive. There was always argy-bargy between the two of them. But a lot of the time it was brought on by Brian White, who was the station manager at the time, who would go up to Darren and say, "Hey, have you heard what Mark said about you yesterday?" No, what did he say? Oh, he said that story you did was rubbish. So Darren would be on air the next morning. Mark Day has no idea. He's not got a clue. And then it would all be on. And Brian would sit back and go, "Yeah, great. We'll get press coverage."
That's
out
a
of
good manager. That's a very good manager.
Yep.
The other great sort of a to and fro I remember on Darren's show when I was working on it was the court reporter Phil Johnson.
Yes.
And Phil was passionate about suppression orders and the reason for which they were in place. And, Darren quite famously went to jail twice. So the two of them would sort of go, head to head over what Phil could actually tell Darren from court.
Well, I remember once, and Phil could be, because you know Phil.
Love Phil.
Yeah, but in those days he could be, because he'd been covering courts for like 25 years. You sort of get a bit...
and you could sort of see that he'd heard too much sort of doom and gloom, it sort of was written on his face.
So he could be a little
days,
bit cantankerous and a little bit difficult. Anyway, Phil rang in from the courts with a story. Darren goes through the details.
Yes.
And then goes, and now on the line is Phil Johnson. And Phil goes, "Well, you've already said everything, Darren. See ya." And then he hung up.
Good on you, Darren. You've left me nothing to say.
But I like that from Phil. I don't mind that.
Yeah, he could be.
What did you say? Cantankerous.
What?
What did you say before?
What did you say?
Cantankerous.
Cantankerous.
Yeah. It's a good word.
But I refer to...
No one can see you. When you're looking at me like that, Woody, no one can see you.
I've got a bit of
They're
reflex.
seeing
Sort of on my
the back of your head.
Yeah, that's right.
I refer. There's a particular thing about interviewing. Darren was a brilliant journalist and all that, but I didn't like his interviewing technique because he always approached everything with an air of knowledge. So, Sean Woodward, you were brought up in Rowville, you went to this school, you did that and you studied here, you were going to become a teacher, and the guest is going, "That's right, Darren." Yes, Darren.
Yes.
That's correct, Darren.
Alan Jones did the same thing.
Yeah.
Alan would be like, the state of New South Wales is disgusting at the moment. The public transport system is a joke. On the line is the public transport minister. You are the worst minister we've ever had, aren't you? And he would go, "Yes, I am, Alan. Yes, I am."
Sebby, you're pretty good at that.
Very good.
On the line
Have you ever thought about stand-up?
is the greatest radio newsreader of all time, Tony Tardio. Good morning.
Good morning, Alan.
Have you thought
John
about
Laws
stand-up?
used to always call him Alan.
Yeah.
No, I did an open mic night about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
The first one went quite well.
Yeah.
The second one went quite unwell.
Yeah, but don't worry
that
about
was
the
end of that.
unwell ones.
Yeah.
You've got to
You
do
should
more
do it
than
again.
that.
I do good 3AW impersonations.
Go
I've got
on,
to do
fantastic.
McCallum as well.
Nick Moore, Damien.
Nick used to start with, because he used to fill in for Neil Mitchell when I was producing Neil every Queen's birthday. And every year the show would start off the same way. It would be, "Good morning, Nick McCallum filling in for Neil on this Queen's birthday public holiday. And later today, me and the little demons are going to the MCG to watch Collingwood and Melbourne."
Damien does a great impersonation too.
It's very good.
And I came in here one day when he was living here, right, and the house was in chaos because I was renovating the house. So I walk in the door and I hear that.
Yeah.
I think, what the hell is Nick McCullough doing in Damien's bedroom? I thought he was in Damien's bedroom.
But wasn't Tony Lennon in Damien's bedroom as well?
Well, he does it. Do you do a Tony
I
Leonard?
do. It goes. Oh, good boy. Yes. Could you get me a sausage roll with just a suggestion of sauce? Good boy, just a suggestion.
What about Neil Mitchell?
No, I can't do Neil. No, I can't do Neil.
Darren, can you do that?
Kind of.
Shame,
Yeah.
shame.
And he never actually said that, though,
No,
did he?
he never said it.
Yeah.
He
It
never
was.
said it. He did say it on the Wog Boy
The
movie.
Wog Boy movie.
What's your cliche, Tony?
I don't have cliches.
13 degrees in Melbourne.
News time, 5 plus. I used to finish every speech I made at birthdays or whatever. I used to finish with news time, 5 plus.
The best one you did was Tay-Tay time. 5
Oh,
plus.
yeah.
That was clever.
Did you know?
You went through toward the end, and I think it might have led to your downfall.
Hang on.
Toward the end,
Oh, I used to do the
you
22.
infected your 22s, yes. And that, I used to want to come around and pull the mic out.
Did you?
Oh,
really?
it did my head in.
People loved that.
No.
People would ring up and say, "Do it, keep doing it." That's
No,
why I did it.
Terrible.
And sometimes I'd really lay it on. 22.
Yes. I hated it.
I just got a text from Joe from Q.
Oh, by the way, have we got messages on or something?
Well, Joe from Q reckons my mic's not working
Oh,
properly.
for goodness sake, Woody.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
It might be.
Nothing you've said's gone to hell.
Well, my Joe from Q suggested that I've eaten more pizzas than I've said words. No, because the problem is I'm very hungry.
Is Joe from near Q or the other one?
He's from the other one.
What other one's that?
Well, he's actually more in Paran these days.
Is he?
But he says to say hello, Joe from Q.
Yeah,
he
well-
wants to catch up with you, actually.
Well, he's always said he wants to come here. Why doesn't he come here?
Oh, he gets a bit nervous.
He's nervous in front of camera, isn't he? He shits himself.
I think so. Yeah, maybe it's just, I don't know. Oh, don't worry. It
I
sounds
mean,
all right.
don't worry.
Well,
We want this thing to be
Is it working?
professional. How can we check if it's working?
I can listen back. So I'll wander off over
No, someone can send us a message.
Oh, hang on. Big Red's just texted me saying the mic's working fine. Shout out to the diaries. Yep, shout out to the diaries.
Big Red.
And then Mitch from the Gully says...
Oh, Mitch from the Gully.
He says, shout out to Dan Andrews for Tony.
Actually, I brought something in also for you, Tom.
What? Oh, geez, Sebby's come with presents.
Oh, no, this is great.
Holy fingers.
What I've got for you is a bag
Yeah.
of nothing
Yeah,
to
you want
symbolise what IBAC found in Operation Richmond today. Right? It found nothing, Tone. After an investigation that's gone on longer than the Second World War, IBAC found nothing.
Can you believe that you can be found to have engaged in serious, and what was the other word? Serious and
Which
dangerous.
part? Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
hang on.
Oh.
Oh, not
Speak-
Emily. What are you...
Speaking of
Emily.
serious and dangerous,
Emily, we're doing the podcast at the moment. What do you want to say?
I was just calling to see how your show went.
Yeah, it went really well.
Don't you normally say something when I put you on the podcast?
Oh, what, for fuck's sake.
That's exactly right.
Christian's here as well.
Hey, Christian, he's great.
We're going live out on YouTube if you want to watch it, Emily. And we got
And,
No.
Emily, you're a star. You going well? How are the kids? How's everything?
yeah, they're good.
They've been easy today.
It's
Oh,
been
good.
really easy.
I like Christian. He's a good man.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even know him.
Oh, I do know him.
Where have you met him?
I met him at the footy last year.
Have you met him, Christian?
What are you? Give me my word.
At the box.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got invited to the Chemist Warehouse box.
Why pay more?
Very, very kind of the Chemist Warehouse people to do that.
What are you talking about tonight?
Well, we're just about to kick into some political discussion, but Emily, we'll let you go because we've just got a really special guest here, Em. So,
Yeah, and you're hogging his time. He's come all the way.
Special guest.
his name is Sebastian Costello.
it's Alan Jones here. I'm a talkback radio host in Sydney.
Anyway, Emily, you're a star, and we'll be in touch.
Joy.
All right.
Bye.
Emily. Ciao, ciao. That's my daughter, Emily.
Ah, nice.
Oh, sorry, I cut it
Gave
off.
your kids pretty sort of generic names considering of your heritage.
Well, you want me to explain all that?
I do.
I'll tell you. What we decided was to give them names that could be anglicised and Italianated, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Depending on which way it was going to go.
Well, so Damien is.
It's depending on what school you're applying for.
Well, it depends on all sorts of things. So the grandparents know how to name them, because James Liotto always says, he always calls Jamasa. Jamasa is
Yeah.
what they call him. But Damiano is Damien.
Damiano.
Emilino is Emily.
Yep.
And Marco is Marcus.
Is Mark.
So,
Yep.
so there you go.
No, and you're Taduch.
Well, that's that's what they call me.
What would Sean be in Italian?
Jonathan.
No, it'd be Woody.
But no, look, look, I back.
By the way, hello, Uncle Dino too. He's probably watching.
He's a great man, Big Dino.
Uncle Dino, if you want to ring up, we'll put you on.
So just talking to you about.
You know what we need to... Sorry, Woody.
Jeez, we're jumping around here.
No, we need a phone, Simon.
Yeah.
People can ring.
Yeah. So they did that on the footy show. They used to have the little phone.
Yeah, can we get a cheap sort of, I don't know...
We can Bluetooth that to this system. So, yeah. So
Really?
Tony's number...
No.
You can do my number.
Hang on. It's just someone else's call.
Damien Tardio, Telstra.
Damien, we're doing on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. Woody's microphone's not working.
Woody, your microphone's not working, for goodness sake.
What do you mean?
Fix your bloody microphone. You profess to be a technological genius.
Oh, I don't profess to be anything,
You
actually.
can't get your shit into order. Seriously, fix yourself up.
Damo, is it not working? Because I'm pretty sure it is.
Someone messaged me saying it's working.
Oh, well, I think it's working now, but it wasn't working before.
Well, that wasn't his fault, really, just to
Test
defend.
these things before you go to air. Also, the other thing is, you got Seb Costello there. Let him speak.
What's one thing you want to ask Seb, Damo?
I want to ask Seb, when's the next episode of the Integrity Unit coming out?
Great question. So, the Integrity Unit is the podcast I do with Mick Warner for News Corp.
Oh.
And Mick has been on a holiday in Europe. I'm not sure if he's been interviewing Tommy Robinson or not. I haven't asked him, because that'll be the end of the podcast, apparently, if he has. So we are back next Tuesday, Damo, publishing for Wednesday.
Oh, hopefully you got a few bombs to detonate.
Actually,
Well,
can you repeat that? Because I want to listen to this podcast. What's it called? The
It's called
Integrity.
the Integrity Unit. And Damo's just said, hopefully we've got some bombs. And I mean, look, Damo, as you know, it's very difficult to find examples of corruption in the AFL. You know, we really struggle for content. You know, yeah.
Now, how often does this Integrity Unit podcast? Do you videotape it?
We do. So, look, we're trying to make sure we have a big sort of what we call a lead story each episode. So we did a block of 5.
Yeah.
Then Mick's been in Europe. So we're loosely committed to doing it weekly, but it's not quite like
depending upon content.
Content, yeah.
Right. And how many? Like you're getting a lot of because AFL.
I think it's a product through Code Sports, which is the sort of News Corp sports platform. And as I understand it, the take up in terms of subscriptions and stuff has been really strong.
Yeah, it's a great potty. I've listened to every
Have you?
episode. It's
How
fantastic.
come we're not on Code Sports, Woody?
Well, we're not a sports podcast.
We can be anything
You don't know
they
anything
want.
about sport. Top Hat doesn't like sport.
I like cricket.
Yeah.
Talk about cricket.
All right, we'll be talking about cricket.
I remember the last time you went to a cricket press conference, Tony. It was quite memorable.
Yeah, with Homer Grant. Well, you know his name's Homer.
Chip.
I think.
I know,
Hang on, Damo, you were there too, weren't you?
Where?
At the
Triple Grand.
what's your memory of that?
Tell the story, Dame.
Oh, yeah, well, I remember it was the day after the whole sandpaper thing came out, and we went to the MCG out the front of Yarra Park. James Sutherland comes out of Cricket Australia House, and the media advisor says, only 5 questions. And I thought to myself, given the magnitude of this incident over in South Africa, 5 questions is pitiful. So the questions start coming in. Tony's the interloper, and he starts he's always trying to get a question in. And I remember Tom Morris was there, and he was giving us dirty looks, not knowing who he was. And then Triple Grand was getting a bit testy and getting frustrated because he's thinking, these are my 5 questions. I can't let someone else ask the 5 questions. And then at the end of the press conference, Chip comes up to the old man and he says, what are you doing at this press conference? This is my story, and there's a bit of argy-bargy in Tony Leonard's language.
Well, actually, I thought he was going to hit me. That's what I thought. So I went to put my hand up, and in doing that, I knocked his mobile phone out of his hand. All right, so...
And then that's when I got involved. I got in front, and, you know, you look back at the vision now, and I was in peak pristine physical.
Yeah, actually...
condition. I was 72 kilos. I was looking immaculate.
Yeah, you were. He bent over and picked up his phone. As he got up, he pushed me back. And
at this point in time, I had no idea who he was. So then he goes to his car, and I'm following him. And I said, you know, what was that about? Who are you? And he's like, that's not his story to cover. And I said, yeah, but who are you? I don't understand who you are. And he wouldn't tell me who he was. And then I didn't find out until I got back after I followed him to his car that he was Chip Legrand, and the rest is history.
yeah, well, and then that was all live on Channel 9 too.
That's right. Chompers was on the footy show.
Chompers was on it, and he looks at me, looks at Dame, and go, I know who those guys are.
Yeah.
And the people at the press conference, this is how dumb Cricket Australia are, they thought I was some random guy walking a dog.
Right.
Well, I could have been because they did it outside. You know, they should have done it inside if they don't want random people walking a dog.
Did you get a question in?
Sebi, I asked all 5 questions.
Ronnie Burke was there, and he had this most shocked look on his face.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And then Stephen Beers rang me up and wanted to know if I was all right and what happened. And then I said, I want an apology from Chip Legrand. And then all the management got involved. And then Breakfast rang me up. You remember that, Damien? The next day was sort of like one of the big stories on Breakfast.
But then, now we fast forward 8 years, and you and Chip couldn't be any closer in your thinking.
Well, don't worry. Me and Chip made peace, all right? Because
I think there's a bit of a bromance.
Oh, yeah.
Bromance brewing, I reckon.
there's no bromance. I was in...
What's that saying? The saying is your friend's enemy is your enemy, and you're the friend of your friend's enemy.
Nothing to do with that.
My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Yeah,
nice.
Now, Damo, you know how you wanted to hear more of Seb?
Yeah, he's taken over, Damien.
Well, shut up then.
So, Damien, I want to hear more from you, Seb, though. So, firstly, you just been to Bali?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about Bali?
Sure, yeah.
How was it?
Why wouldn't we talk about...
Oh, no, I'm just like, I don't like...
What did you get up in Bali?
Yeah, well,
No, he was just on a retreat.
didn't get my boogie board bag home, unfortunately, Tomo. They took it off me in
Be
customs.
careful with booty borgs. Going to Bali.
It's boogie boards, not
This
booty boards,
Vietnamese
Toad.
suit, I'm looking at myself.
Stop looking at you. How is your hinge going, by the way?
Beg your pardon?
Your hinge account.
I beg your pardon? I don't even know what Hinge is.
Dating app,
No
I
idea.
believe. Are you on the
Of
apps?
course he's on the
No
apps.
idea what... anyway, we're talking
What,
about...
66 and
What
full
I
of
was going to
tricks.
say, what age range do you put when you're looking on the
Negative.
apps?
It's half your age plus 7. That's what you taught me.
Yeah, how much is that? 33 or 40? That's too old.
Oh, Tony. But no, so it was a good time in Bali.
Yeah, nice little break. I when I go on holidays, I like to do as little as possible.
Yes.
So I just read a
Thank
book
you.
on a banana lounge.
What are you
short
talking
book,
about?
yeah.
You don't go on holidays.
No, but when I do,
Yeah, you don't go on holiday.
I don't have a
He doesn't
passport.
go overseas.
Come on, Top Hat.
Is that true?
Yeah, I don't have a passport. I have
Yeah.
no interest in going overseas
Right.
because to me that's effort.
Have you been?
Once,
Okay.
2000, 2001. No, 2000.
Yeah, and he
it was.
hated it.
Yeah, I hated every minute.
It was a bad year for travel, 2001, if I may say so.
It wasn't. What did you say was underwhelming? Rome was underwhelming.
Oh yeah, the Colosseum.
Oh my god!
Yeah, disappointing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the Colosseum.
Oh, I don't know about
You look
that.
too old,
No,
Sebby.
no, it was, the Colosseum was.
Is it getting too warm in here? Because I can turn the heating down.
No, it's not.
It was really run down, the Colosseum. it was falling apart.
Oh, that is
He
marvellous.
actually
Yeah,
said
the
that
MCG
on
is better.
He said that on a previous podcast. He goes, "Look, the Colosseum, it's not quite,
No,
you know."
no. My
Not at its
look,
peak.
this is supposed to be about Seb tonight.
Needs an upgrade.
But to just tidy that up, what I said about the Colosseum was now it was magnificent, but everything is modern right up to the wall.
Yes.
Like I want to see the Colosseum and surrounds, but they've just gone, okay, we'll keep that. Everything else is
It's
modern.
phenomenal.
I don't know what you're talking, because there's the Roman Forum that's not modern.
The Circus Maximus.
The Circus Maximus.
Yep.
That's not modern. That's 2000. What's modern? It's up against the
footpath.
The gelato shop across the road.
The fruit cart.
He's talking about the fruit cart.
So, as I've said previously, if I win tats and win big on tats, I would take all of you, and you too, Seb. That's
great.
I would take you on a big trip overseas somewhere. I'd love to go to the States. I love the States.
I'll take the money, thanks.
You know what? Can I
What's in the box?
I just remembered, guys.
Yeah.
My cousin last week won
No.
the $1 million
Ball dust.
Adrian Portelli thing.
Oh, Lambo guys.
Yeah.
This is a
I
story
had-
waiting to happen. Has he been paid out or anything? Or?
Well, I had her on Ready. You see, you should be monitoring my show, Sebby, to get stories out of it because we had her on.
Yeah.
She won, and the interesting story
Cash?
there is he put the money in the account that night straight away.
$1 million cash?
Live, yes.
That is a story.
Now, can I tell you also, her partner's sister died the day before.
Partner's sister.
Okay?
Okay.
Her partner's sister
So
died.
her sister-in-law.
Well, they're not married, so she's the partner's sister. She died the day before. She'd been unwell for a long time. So when Adrian Portelli rang to say you've won, my cousin kept yelling, Vicky, it's Vicky. Vicky's helped us. Vicky
beautiful.
saved us. Vicky saved us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a story.
It's a good story.
Well,
is
I've
it a
got
first cousin?
It's a second cousin.
Okay.
Oh, is it old mate's kid? Yeah.
What's that?
Thingo's kid. What's his name? What's the parent's name?
What are you talking about?
What's the parent's name of the cousin? Just trying to see your bloodline. See, well, you can't multitask.
No,
Well, you can't
I
use
want to
the
play
phone.
you. I'm going to play you the audio because that my,
No. We'll play the audio later. From Rita Italia.
not from Rete Italia. The audio was
Portelli-
sent by we got a WhatsApp family sort of thing,
Oh, okay.
and they sent me the audio.
Well, we're here to talk to Seb, by the way.
Oh, sorry about that. I apologize. Okay, no one wants to hear about that story.
We've heard you've articulated.
Okay, ask Sebby some questions while I try and find
Oh, well,
this.
you've articulated. But how's work going? So obviously, you've been at the Herald Sun for what, 9 months, 10 months?
Since the start of the year,
Yeah, awesome. How's it going?
I like it.
you look like
I
you're
hadn't done print before, and I think one of the things I like about it is the thing about television reporting is you need footage to illustrate the story. So sometimes I found myself only telling part of the story because that's what I had footage of. So to bring an example, I might be doing the fire bombings, the tobacco war stuff, right? And the story would largely be about a fire bombing that had happened in Glenroy because that was what we had the footage of. We didn't have the footage of the Iraqi kingpins calling the shots. In print, your only barrier is the written word.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can, tell the full picture of the truth as I know it in print reporting. So
Didn't you have an altercation with Chicken Man?
Who's that?
What's his name?
Ricky Nixon. Not Chicken Man. His name's Chicken. Not Chicken Man.
Didn't you have an altercation with Chicken Man?
Chicken Man a radio series?
It was.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
everywhere.
it
He's
was.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. I knew Simon would know.
Yeah.
With Ricky Nixon.
If it had been a tribunal case, it would have been, 3 weeks for high contact?
This is Ricky Nixon?
Yeah.
So that was an interesting day. Ricky had started a business where he said that he could inject you with something that would make your skin brighter.
Brighter?
Brighter. The only problem for Ricky was that the Australian Medical Association said it was
Didn't like the idea?
No, they said it didn't quite stack up medically, unfortunately. So to tell this story properly, I had a few months earlier done a story on how Ricky was selling footballs signed by the Melbourne Premiership team, which looked very much like somebody had done all the signatures themselves during a late night session with a texter. Now, it's just what it looked like. The players would later testify that, no, that's not my signature. There was another signature where the player had apparently signed the wrong jumper number on the football.
Did we ever find out who?
Well, Ricky
Is
said
it in
he'd
the
been
court?
sold these dodgy balls and he had no idea
Is
how
it in
this
the
had happened.
court?
But he's since been found guilty of crimes associated with that. So I'd already done this story, which had kind of brought him undone a little bit, let's put it that way. So I don't think I was his favourite person
he
to
wouldn't
begin
like
with.
you.
No. So we went down to talk to him about the skin brightening. It was
As a part of ACCA.
There's a lot of fault
Correct,
lines
yeah.
here. It was a few days after the footage had emerged of Rex threatening that man in an alley.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was actually booked sort of mid-afternoon to speak to Dee Dee in afternoons with the latest on how Rex's mental health was.
Yeah.
So, I'm sort of juggling a few things. Ricky Nixon's up in his apartment. He's not coming downstairs anyway. So, I take the call to Dee Dee. And as I take the call...
And you're live.
Yeah.
Right.
And just before the call to Dee Dee had happened, Ricky had actually come out. I think he'd seen us because he walks out onto Bay Street. He can either go right back towards the city or he can go left towards the bay. And he decided to go left towards the bay, right to where the cameras were. And he sort of walks past us and then sort of stops in his tracks. I'm coming up behind him and he turns around very quickly and catches me on the jaw.
Right. And that happened live on air. That's right.
Yeah, and then within minutes of this happening, Dee Dee rings me to talk about Rex. And I said, look, Dee Dee, there's something going on here. And while I'm on the phone to Dee Dee, Ricky comes back and you can actually hear on the radio audio his voice threatening me through my phone back to the radio, telling me to hang up the phone. So he was having a very bad
Geez,
day.
you've had an interesting career.
I know.
That's
Well, that's just a Tuesday.
Yeah. So me and the chicken, we had a bit of a potted history. I've got some very interesting
See,
text
that's
messages.
what I like about you.
Yeah.
So you're tenacious. You just don't let that shit get to you.
How are
in
you
any
and the
way
chook now?
whatsoever.
Well, I had to block the Chook's number after that. He sort of was mistyping a lot of text messages. I think he meant to write to me, something about a drop punt, but he kept misspelling punt.
Autocorrect.
Yeah. It sort of was happening over and over again.
We should get the chicken man in here, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I met the chicken on the tram. He was very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think he has his good days and his bad days. Anyway, he supposedly was filming a documentary on his life, and it sort of came full circle because when they were brainstorming about the documentary, the director said, what if you get Seb Costello to do the master interview for the documentary?
Oh, he didn't like that.
Yeah, Ricky and I had a chat about that,
Yeah.
and I decided it wasn't a project that I wanted to move forward with. But the upshot of it was, we sort of broke bread. So,
Okay. Well, there you see, you can't be.
Have you heard how he became? So obviously he played footy for Carlton, St Kilda, mainly for St Kilda, and played for Hawks.
Yep.
Actually played in a couple of finals for the Hawks.
Yep.
He was from Golden Square up in Bendigo, so he's quite a handy footballer. But he got along really well with John Elliott. And anyway, in the 90s, he had this idea because AFL footballers were getting underpaid. So he had this idea about this manager. He was going to go overseas and do this manager business course.
He was
and
a
all
teacher too.
He was, and he was going to do this business course and all that. Anyway, John Elliott paid for him to do the business course and said to him, when you make your money, that's when you can pay me back. So John Elliott sort of fitted the bill, and that's how Club 10 started and everything.
He was a top guy, John Elliott, really top guy. When Tom used to have his Christmas parties, for some reason I sat next to John Elliott, I think twice or three times. He had some amazing stories.
What would you talk about?
Just his stories. Keith Miller and Princess Margaret.
Wow, that's a good start. I was going to say Keith McGowan. I'm like, we like Keith. but-
Keith Miller and Princess Margaret. And
Yep.
as in sort of Darren and Bette Midler is the same sort of story surrounding Keith Miller and Princess Margaret.
You can put this in the Herald Sun on tomorrow.
I'd hold the front page.
Yeah.
A bit of horizontal rumba going on there.
Not
A bit of in-swinging
the
and
Crown
out-swinging.
Princess.
I was going to say the Pasquale's due to get back in
A bit of leg spin.
All right, that's
Middle stump
All
action.
right, you've had your fun. All right, no, that's all right. So I'm trying to think of some other famous altercations have you had, or like, have you had anything like that?
Do you remember this one?
You sort of make it out that Seb fights with everyone.
No, he fights for the truth. He does. He fights for the truth.
I want to see him go you in a minute. This is
So when the courts announced for the first time, the magistrates' court, that they were going to open on Saturdays, I think possibly to promote this fact, but it may just have been a coincidence. The night before the first Saturday session of the Magistrates Court, Toby Mitchell, the former, current, bikie figure, he was arrested, and it just so happened that, one of the first accused he was remanded for the night and appeared on the Saturday morning. So he was one of the first people to be processed by the Magistrates Court on a Saturday. Anyway, he had two of his friends show up to the Magistrates Court that morning, and I was down there with a Channel 9 camera, and we were trying to figure out who these people were. And in the cut and thrust of that, one of the men picked up a milk crate, which was lying next to the Tattersalls on William Street there, and threw the milk crate at me, which caught me sort of beautifully on the shoulder. I remember Ross and John calling about it on the Monday to talk about it. But the detective, who later became a good friend of mine, who was processing Toby, came and found me afterwards and said, Seb, I'm so sorry about what's happened. We're here to take your statement about the assault. And I said, what assault, detective? I don't think Toby Mitchell's friends have done anything here, have they? No. So it was one of those ones where I just felt...
They're upstanding.
That's right. Where I just didn't want to pursue a charge in that particular case. But, it can be a bit wild out there in a TV news and current affairs sense.
Sebastiano Costello, what made you want to get into radio in the first place?
I was just besotted with the Talkback Kings.
Were you?
Yeah, like I met John Laws when I was a teenager, up at the old, not 2GB, 2UE. On the Pacific Highway, and went into his office, and, he had this extraordinary globe, like a sphere of the globe on like a coal. It just looked so affluent, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, he used to have this gold microphone that they would treat like some sort of crown that they would take into the studio.
Had to wear gloves whilst handling it.
What do you
like
think
the Melbourne
about
Cup?
that? Do you like that? You like that, though?
It's not about me. We're talking to Sebi.
No, but you like that sort of show busy sort of thing.
No, I don't. Who says I like this?
Well, that's what you've insinuated.
I've not insinuated nothing.
Okay.
Sebi, so you got besotted by that.
Yeah, I just thought that I love the theatre of Talkback. Even in his, Darren obviously was a big hero for me growing up. He had that book about how he'd been sacked 16 times.
Yep.
And I remember reading that as a teenager and going like, I
want to be sacked 16 times.
Yeah, well, I think I'm on 5.
You're on the way, mate.
But no, it was the, I guess the, what do you call it? The resilience of that, you just kept going, You get knocked down, you get back up. I love that. Even Stan Zemanek, when he was doing nights in Sydney, and he would have fantastic blues with some of the callers. There was one of them, I can't remember, it was sort of his equivalent. There was Bruce the Goose, who was a Laws character, and Stan had a similar one who was
it turned out he was paying somebody to make that.
There was a guy. There was a guy. Yeah, there was a guy who was paid to ring in, and he put on a few voices.
Right,
but many. So there were some phony characters, which would just spice things up.
Yep.
But that actually doesn't take away from the fact that he was very good at the theatre of radio.
Your intro for your Rita Italia show is Stan Zemanik's old intro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Damien organised that. My Stan Zemanik story, Seb,
from they're playing our song. You're using the instrumental from their playing our song.
And then I got Craig Willis to do live drive across Australia with Tony Tardio. I thought, Jesus, I'm scaring the shit out of myself. But my Stan Zemanik, the World Cup soccer was on, all right? And
02?
It was 202, yeah. And I went in there to do the headlines, and some player had said that scoring a World Cup goal was better than sex. Right? And I did the headlines, and then Stan goes, "Now, Tony, I want your opinion here." He was fantastic.
Oh, it's good.
What do you think would be better, scoring a World Cup goal or sex? And he puts you on the spot like that, and I said, "Oh, Stan, I don't have enough information to make a decision. I've never scored a World Cup goal." He said, "Well, I want you to go away in an hour's time, come back and tell me." So I went back and I said, "Oh, Stan, your wife actually rang the newsroom
Oh, no.
and said she'd prefer to score a World Cup goal.
That's funny.
And how do you take that?
I laugh.
Why don't maybe I'll direct this to Simon. Big fan of Stan's Night Show in Sydney was brilliant. Beauty and the Beast on TV, brilliant. Why don't you think he works at 3AW?
He was on the wrong time slot, unfortunately. 3AW, historically, going back to when Darren and the gang took it to number one in the 80s, breakfast was always a class of its own. Mornings was news and current affairs. Afternoons was light entertainment. Drive was serious news and current affairs. Stan was not a journo. He didn't have... He had a laptop that was his brain.
Brain was in the laptop.
His brain was in a laptop. Okay. If you mention marijuana, he'd go, marijuana. And this spreadsheet would open up with all the things. Okay. Did you know that marijuana has this many drugs in it? So everything that he needed to know, his producers would type into his laptop and store for him so he could just bring it up on a spreadsheet. Stan was a master at what they do very well in Sydney, which is the theatre of radio. Yep. Melburnians, we don't have that same sense of humour. And Stan did. But if Stan was in afternoons, and we had Ernie in afternoons, so you can't get better than Ernie. No. But if Stan Zemanek was in afternoons and told, stay away from news and current affairs, and get Jeannie Little on and
Carlotta.
Yeah, all those people. Get your circus of friends on and just do an entertaining afternoon show. He would have worked in Melbourne.
Okay.
But it was the wrong time slot for the wrong guy.
Can I tell you, so it was the state election? I'd have been 2022.
Yeah, that'd be right.
He'd been in Sydney all weekend. He had no idea who won. Mind you, he's doing a talkback drive show. He had no idea who won. Yeah. And all Stan really cared about, because he had the 3 hours, because he would get $200 for each live read. So all he cared about was that there's enough room in the program for him to do his live reads.
Yeah.
And that's what commercial radio in 2002 had come down.
Did you speak to him much off here?
I was his panel operator, so yeah.
Did you get along?
Simon and I were his only friends.
We got along really well. That's pretty much true. We were Stan's only friends in the building.
Oh, the two of you?
Yeah, he invited us out to lunch to dinner with our wives. I remember that.
That's right. Yeah, it
and
Stan's wife Martina.
Marcella.
Yeah.
And Marcella was a lovely lady, because she had at Stan's place on a Sunday, because Marcella would cook a big roast, would be Stan, Alan Jones, and somebody else. I don't know if John Laws went there, but they'd all be there because she knew them all. You know, they were all friends.
Yeah.
So I was really sad when I found out that he had a brain tumour or something. And
we interviewed him shortly after. It was really sad. Like he had just had a grandchild, I think, at the time. Yeah. And he was revelling in the fact of being a grandparent. Yeah. And then
because he was a nice bloke.
He was.
I mean, I remember when he and Bondi had a blue, because he was talking about AFL football.
Graham Bond, the former Richmond player.
And Bondi said a mark, and Stan goes, "That's a catch, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a catch." And Bondi sort of thought he was having a go at him.
Right.
Well, that's where I'd go. The Melburnians don't have that sense of theatre. He was playing the Sydney fool, saying, and he said to Graham at the time, Bondi said, "Oh, that's a mark. When someone catches a ball, it's a mark." And Stan said, "What's the physical thing that he's actually doing? What is the action?" Right. And Bondi says, "Well, yes, he's catching the ball." Right, so it's a catch. This mark stuff is rubbish. Now, Stan's not doing that because he believed it. He's saying it because he knew it would stir things up. But then people got offended because Bondi's one of the nicest guys on the planet.
Lovely guy.
And Stan's effectively sort of rubbishing him a bit. Yeah. And so the Melbourne audience started piling on. Rex Hunt got all offended by it. And it was
because Rex came on and got angry as well.
Yeah, Rex cracked the sads with him, yeah. So,
and Ernie...
It was just Stan having some fun.
And he and Ernie... I think Stan's office was just a little bit bigger than Ernie's.
It was, yeah. And that did Ernie's head in, yeah.
And Stan came in here, and he put up all his photographs of Stan with, Sammy Davis Jr., Stan with Frank Sinatra. The whole place plastered with this sort of stuff.
And Ernie didn't like it.
Well, Ernie used to always pot him, because Ernie had an hour taken off his program as well.
Because Ernie was 12 till 4 in the year 2000, in 2001. And in 2002, when Stan came, Stan took 3 till 6.
Yeah.
So Ernie lost an hour, which infuriated Ernie because he was also on the count for his live reads. So Ernie could suddenly only have 12 live reads each day instead of 16.
Of course.
So
that's hitting you where it hurts,
One per
isn't it?
break, yeah.
Okay.
So the end of 02, they decided to move Stan on?
it hadn't. He didn't gel. Like, he was in the paper every day. It was one of the greatest years of publicity for 3AW ever. And despite what people will tell you, ratings-wise, Stan wasn't the disaster that everyone makes out to be. Right. People say, Steve Price rated a 15, Stan dropped it down to a 12, and below. That's not quite right. Steve finished up in February, which means survey 1 of that year, Steve took a hit and rated 12. In Steve's last survey, he didn't, he took a real hit. Stan maintained that 12 through that year. So the audience didn't disappear, it just never recovered to the previous high levels.
Okay.
The funny thing, though, of the Stan era was that one manager, the big chief, hired Stan. The chief below him hired Hinch, and both managers weren't aware of what the other one was doing.
Mm. And then was it Darren who was that when Darren came on board?
Yeah, Darren took over drive from Stan. So Stan was only there in 2002.
Darren was doing nights.
No, Darren did nights in 2000. Then he got the arse from nights because he did destroy the ratings. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, but Philip Brady used to say he sounded like a chainsaw going to sleep because Darren would do his Darren. He was a tough.
I worked with Darren for that year, and it was a battle. We always said to Darren, because Paul Dowsley was producing. I always said
Channel 7 Paul Dowsley.
Channel 7 Paul Dowsley. Yeah. He was called in to produce Darren for that year in 2000. Right. And we said to Darren at the time, at 10 o'clock, people pop the radio on to go to bed. They want comfort and company. That's what nighttime radio offers, comfort and company. So if you want to scream and yell about pedophiles and crook politicians, do that at 8 o'clock because there's people still driving around in their cars. But once 10 o'clock hits, you've got to go lighter. And for the first part of the year, he did. But then Darren, I love him, but his ego was as enormous as his reputation. And there he is. He's looking at me. But,
get it right, Simon.
But toward the end of the year, I went overseas. That was the year I went on my one overseas holiday. So I went overseas in October, and I was doing nightly crosses to Keith McGowan, my Simon's trip from Italy.
You were doing nightly crosses from Squaliano.
Keith would ring me in Qualiano. What have you been up to? Oh, I'm bored shitless, Keith. But I would do nightly crosses. And Keith would ring me, and every night I'd say, how's it going? And he'd say, he's screaming about bloody pedophiles. I've got no frigging audience. He's just got to shut up. That he's going to bring himself down. And sure enough, that's what happened to Darren at the end of 2000. But so Stan in 2002 took over from Steve Price because Steve Price had gone to Sydney to take over from Alan Jones, who had jumped ship from 2UE to 2GB. So Stan at the end of 2002, in that 1 year with Steve Price in breakfast, all the audience had moved across to 2GB and 2UE was suddenly a basket case. Right. So Graham Mott said to Stan, we really need you back in Sydney. Can we get you back to help prop up 2UE? And so Stan was umming and ahhing. He quite liked doing the Melbourne thing, but ultimately his heart lied in Sydney.
He never really lived here.
No, he had an apartment.
He used to fly up and down. He used to fly back to Sydney every weekend. Yeah. He didn't really like Melbourne.
And he didn't do it that many times, but he did occasionally broadcast from Sydney into Melbourne.
And that was a big deal 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody broadcasts from everywhere now.
Well, I think with Stan, because he was Stan, they made a big deal about him broadcasting from Sydney because they didn't like him. And any little tiny thing that they could hit him with, they were going to hit him with.
Yeah. And it was because, as I say, we didn't understand his humour, the theatre. He wanted to have fights with people in fun. Oh. But we all took it so seriously. So.
If you can ever track down a sort of obit highlights package they put together for Stan after his passing. It's got a song from the Lion King musical, He Lives in You, underneath it with clips of Stan.
Yeah.
And you will laugh, you will cry.
Yeah.
It's like for radio theatre and craft,
Yeah.
it's excellent.
He was gifted, a gifted
Did he
broadcaster.
have a farewell dinner or anything? Did he take you after these year at AW?
Yeah, he took us to. Had
No.
you two had your falling out by then?
Yeah,
did you come to the?
I did have a falling out because I actually said something.
You've had some good fallouts over the years.
He took us to the posh restaurant in the Chinese restaurant in the city. What's the
Flower Drum.
The Flower Drum.
Flower Drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go there. You know what?
Why did you have a fallout with him?
Well, I can't remember now. But
No. Remember, why did you have a fallout?
Well, I can't remember, but let me tell you this story. I used to do a community radio program on Stereo 974.
Yes.
All right, that was in Brooklyn. It was in the middle of a car yard, all right, and the car yard
This
closed
is
down.
Brooklyn in the western suburbs.
Yeah,
Yep.
not Brooklyn in the United States. And the car yard closed down. But in the middle was this radio station in like a tin shed.
Yeah.
But in the tin shed, it was beautifully done. But when you went there, you felt like you were doing a drug deal or something because you're in this empty car lot.
Yeah.
So I said to Stan, do you want to come out to Stereo 974? And he said, yeah, I'll come out. So he comes out in his chauffeur-driven car. And the guy at the gate wouldn't let him in.
Really?
Would not let him in.
Is that why you had the fallout then?
No, it wasn't about that.
Was it about money? Because usually your fallouts are about money.
I can't remember, to be honest, Woody. I just can't.
Because
You've tricked my memory of one of the names mentioned here. Is it sort of after 9? Are we allowed to tell
Yeah,
sort of
absolutely.
adults only stories?
Yeah.
You mentioned Keith McGowan.
Yeah, Keith.
Keith
Funny
McGowan was the overnight host on 3AW. And it's fair to say he was quite an amorous person, Simon.
Oh yes.
He was a very amorous person. A bit
was
like you, Tony.
active.
Amorous.
Yes, meaning
Yeah.
horny, I suppose.
Simon, can you just move that bottle? It's right in front of my face.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so do you remember the horrible Christchurch earthquake in 2011? I think hundreds of people died, huge damage, terrible story. And I got sent to cover it for 3AW along with the police reporter at the time, Yvette Gray. And Yvette and I went out, and it's one of the most eerie 24 hours of my life because we land in the North Island and drive down to Christchurch, and it's after the earthquake, and there's huge holes in the road, sort of look like Victoria, and
Oh, that's funny.
no, not really.
You're upsetting Woody here off because he loves pothole roads.
Anyway, no,
he loves having his money wasted.
I shouldn't take the piss out of it because it was actually quite, troubling how destroyed this town was. Anyway, sometimes sort of Keith was a pretty unpredictable character. We land, it's late at night, the overnight show starts, and, I sort of say, Yvette and I decide who's going to do the cross to Keith. Yvette goes off and does the cross to Keith, and she comes back and she just looks bewildered. And I sort of said, oh, how'd it go? And she said, oh, look, it was a bit weird. I said, oh, what do you mean? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. And I later got the audio, right? And it went something like this. It was Keith going, Yvette, you're in Christchurch with Seb Costello. Yvette says, yes, I am, Keith. And he says, did the station book 2 beds or just the one?
Okay. Oh, that's just... I took Big Dino, my brother-in-law, Big Dino into... Because Dino...
I want $1 for every time I hear this story.
Dino listened to 3AW. We'd gone to see, I think, Gladiators, and on the way... It was a hot night, Seppi. One of the hottest Melbourne nights. So we go into Bank Street, and Dino wants to see Keith McGowan. It was after midnight. So we go in there, and Keith, because it was a hot night,
He's got the top on.
he had his shirt off.
Bank Street? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
And I think he was in his underpants. You'd think I'd remember because that'd be such a really. But what I do remember though is there's Keith leaning over the bench, the table, and there was a bit of paper on the bench, and there was sweat dripping off his body, down his breast, and then on the paper. And I said, Dino, that's Keith McGowan.
He was great though. He was fantastic.
He was fantastic.
Did he go?
And,
Did he
and
have
in
a
fairness,
social life?
and in fairness, he had the best boobs in the building.
Well, they actually curled, so there was
Tony,
there was a bit of a drop.
I'm just joking. Tony's noticed.
did he socialise? Was he a social?
Oh, he was, yeah. Oh, he was.
Christopher Broady used to say he used to see him at the trots all the time.
Yeah, he loved the trot.
Oh, yeah.
Loved the trot.
Yeah, his son's in horse racing, worked for Harness Racing Victoria or something. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Joe, from
You know what else Keith would do? He'd come to work with no food. No food.
well, that's what you used to do, and then I had to give all my light and easy to you.
Never gave. You offered now. See, this is what happens, Seth. He offers all this stuff to try and ingratiate himself. Now he's making it look like I asked.
No, because
for it.
he had this quote, Tiberius, our old mate over here. He used to go, he goes, I don't like bringing food into
I don't,
work
'cause I never used to eat.
People just offer me food.
No, that's
true.
no. I didn't like bringing food.
Because
Simon.
it made you
even now.
better.
Am I eating now?
Oh, go on, have one.
No,
No,
because
last time I bought those in, though, you scoffed them. What's going
absolutely
on?
went-
well,
full
normally when I eat something, I can't. My voice goes crazy. All right, so I don't eat anything, and I never used to eat during the entire shift. And then he would come and he'd offer me stuff. Now, what am I going to say? No, Woody, you. And I used to say that. Now you're pretending that you were feeding me.
No.
All right. Now, the thing about Keith McGowan was
I knew they weren't paying you well at 3AW, Tone. I didn't realise.
There's an argument to mount for that too, Seth.
The day Tony walked in and said, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" It was just,
Well, I remember the day Loretta Johns and me went in to see, well, we can say the name, Shane Healy.
yes.
Do you want me to ring him?
I love Shane.
Because Shane had said, no pay rises at Fairfax, no pay rises, no pay rises. And that particular day comes through on the Age website. Herald Sun journalist, Fairfax journalist got a 3% pay rise. So we went there, slammed the paper on his desk, and Shane, he had a swivel chair, just turned around and said, no pay rises.
Yeah.
Do you remember he also, at one of the times that AW changed hands, I was there at this point, so maybe it was Fairfax, maybe it was Nine, whatever it was, and in part of the deal, Shane was going to get fired, right? But he just refused to stop coming to work. I'm just not going.
Well, that's what you do, you just keep going.
And eventually they just went off the idea.
It's marvellous.
What was the
I
great
knew
story
that.
about Gray and Darren?
Oh, well, I was going to tell that story.
Yeah.
There had been a stabbing. There'd been a stabbing
Jeez.
at the La Trobe University Library, all right? And we sent Yvette Gray. She's going to report from there. So Shannon Reid goes into the studio and says to Darren, we've got a vet at the library. And she goes, I don't want to talk. No, I don't want to cross there. And Shannon Reid said, well, why? What's going on? Anyway, she goes again, we've got a vet at the library. And then she goes, no, we're not doing it. And then Shannon goes, why? He goes, because why would I talk to a vet about a stabbing?
That's very, very funny. That's classic. Sam, what a workplace, eh? Do you remember, like...
Oh, it was the best. Honestly, it was the best.
Wait,
Like that era of Hinch and Ross and John too. I think people forget John Burns was something else.
He
like,
was a funny guy.
oh,
Great storyteller.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, an orator.
yeah, just and
And
totally
I so advise.
and totally unique. Like there was nobody like John Burns anywhere else. This
And everybody misses him still to this day.
Yeah.
And whenever anything comes up, there's always, oh, John Burns.
Yeah.
But the newsroom was pretty funky as well. You had Tony and
Sure.
David, who's a legend.
the
and
doc, yeah,
Doc.
The doc.
You
yeah,
got Dennis O'Kane.
the doc.
Yeah.
When the doc,
got any- and
doc
Darren-
did his eulogy at Darren's funeral, and
He did it all
was-
off the top of his head.
He was 15 minutes in and he just got to 1971 and I thought this could be a long afternoon.
Yeah, because he had little notes written down there. And I go, Dennis, you better write it down. You know, and anyway, he was good.
Because you got Darren James also
DJ.
character back then.
Yes.
Oh, he still is, you know.
Yeah. Look, I
Justin Smith.
walked in, absolutely. I walked into AW in 2007. As I'm sure a lot of people
Is that
did
when
too.
Shane McGuinness started at the same time?
Around the time, yeah. Shane
No,
and
I can
he was a
tell
bit
you when
earlier
Shane-
because he came in after Clinton.
Grivers
Yeah.
died in 2008. And Shane, that week, because Shane went to the funeral. I remember seeing him at the funeral at One Turner for Clinton Grivers, and he hadn't quite started yet. He'd just been brought in by Bondi, and Clinton sort of said, "Oh, this guy sounds good." So they hired Shane McGuinness.
Right.
Was it that late, was it? I thought it was earlier 2000s. One of Shane's first gigs was doing the tennis crosses
Yep.
for Bruce and Phil late at night. The Australian Open was on and Shane was doing the crosses. And I remember being really impressed and actually telling Shane Healy, I said, I don't know where you got this kid from, but he's great. He's really knowledgeable, funny. But I thought it was a lot longer than that.
It was 2008.
I'm really proud of
suppose it's
Shane
coming
too,
up
the
20
way
years.
he's hosting now. I think he's
flying.
just really
Yeah.
doing a good job.
Yeah.
You know,
He has a crack.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't listen really, to be honest with you.
You would have heard him though.
Oh, I've listened to Shane
Yeah.
in the past, but since last year,
No, fair enough.
Is it like a serious question? Is it difficult to tune in?
How are you?
no, it's not. It's like it's not on my radar.
Hang on. No,
What do
no,
you
no.
mean,
What
how
do you
am
mean
I?
it's not? But you worked at the plot. Well, you were associated for 30 years and then 13 plus.
You know who I like to listen to?
Who?
When I was doing that bit of Uber driving that I was doing.
Who'd you like to listen to?
Radio for the print handicapped. Because you're driving along, Simon, and the Age is being read to you, or the Herald Sun is being read to you. How fantastic.
What station's
I
it
think
on?
a psychotherapist would call that deflection.
Yeah,
would he?
he's a very good. You'd be a great Polly.
That's
You'd
deflection.
be a great Polly.
Sorry, I don't recall.
I mean, I don't watch the 9 News much these days.
No?
No, I don't. And
Does that hurt?
Little bit,
Yeah.
not
Because you were at 9 for 13 years.
13 years, yeah. And I think
Were you there that long?
that long, yeah.
Are you bitter?
Sorry.
Are you bitter?
Look, I think, I was at a workplace for 13 years. There's going to be some resentments somewhere,
Yeah.
I mean, but
No,
some
well,
days,
obviously, I'm different. I'm not resentful at all. No.
I would dispute that.
You would dispute that. What would make you dispute
I
that?
just have you looked at your Twitter feed for the last 6 months?
What are you talking about?
Oh, just every second day.
Every second day.
Where's
I'm doing
Paul
what?
Oliver, the great man? Where is he?
What are you talking about?
You do come across quite resentful on Twitter.
Not resentful at
it's-
all.
well, do you you'd have resentment somewhere, though.
No, not at all.
It's a safe space here if you want to.
No one's watching.
It's not resentful at all.
I think
No.
life's too short and the industry's too small to
Of course.
have serious
You know,
resentment.
I like to have a bit of theatre.
'cause,
What you're talking about is theatre there, Woody. All right? That's what you're talking
I'm talking about feelings.
Because one day said, like,
There's a generational thing going on here.
Yeah.
said you're still quite young and youthful, good looking and all that. One day,
you, Simon.
Nine management will move on and there'll be other people there who will go, you know what, we should get Seb Costello.
Yes. Sure.
People come and go all the time.
They always
Hinch was at AW 4 times.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
true.
guarantee you'll be back at AW one day. I'll put money
I want
on
Sebby to do a program on AW.
I reckon you'd be
you should be
fantastic.
doing a program.
I
So,
don't think I have enough Instagram followers, Tony. Isn't
You know,
that how you get hired on 3AW these days?
You know, let's talk about
Why is everyone lit off the microphone?
No. When I was doing Uber driving, I picked up a lady from what's the big podcast thing going on at the moment? I picked her up in Richmond.
Neil asks why.
No,
Oh, okay. What?
it's two girls started this Instagram.
Oh, Shameless. Yeah,
Shameless.
It is a very good podcast.
I picked up this girl who's the big chief of Shameless.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I actually invited her to our podcast.
It's a very good podcast. And what did she say?
Well, we talked about Instagram and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, should be a great interview. That's
What
awesome.
you do on Instagram has to match what you do on air. Otherwise, it doesn't transfer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, where we go?
I just think you should be as good as you can on air. That's
Well, that's
I
the other
don't,
thing
I don't
too.
really worry about Instagram.
I don't. I'm very private. I don't post on social.
No.
Fiercely private.
You're private. Woody, Mr. Private.
I'm a
There
private.
he is with the football under his arm.
One thing, can I ask this? And again, Woody, given you're still employed, maybe you should step out at this point.
I do need to go and blow my nose.
But Simon, maybe you'd have a view on this. I don't feel like the Sunday morning program has the diversity of opinions that it once did. You know,
Well, John Michael Howson,
Yeah.
he was fantastic at what he
like
did.
who is the Mr. Right on Sunday morning now?
Well, I think you have to be Mr. Authentic, and John Michael Howson was pretty authentic. He actually believed what he said. Mm-hmm. And I think, see, this is the argument I have with the ABC too, Sebi, all right? The ABC is funded by 27 million Australians who have a variety of different views. But if you watch and listen to the ABC, it's a very narrow band of view.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I'd agree with that. Yep.
That's it.
But if now I don't do news, current affairs, politics. I just don't. I have no interest in it, and I don't do it. But
Right.
to look at the other media outlets,
What you can come back now to say.
you've got a talk radio network that I will say leans right. You've got Sky News, whatever that
News
thing's
24 now,
called,
it's
which
called.
News 24, whatever it is,
Which you've appeared on, haven't you?
which is right
fairly
wing.
right-wing, I
So,
think, yep.
is the government's job to appeal to everyone,
Yes.
or is the government's job to fill gaps?
No.
Like SBS.
No.
And so I would think that the government should be doing specialist broadcasts for people who aren't catered for.
It's not the government's job to feed the population left-wing stuff. It's the government's job because it gets tax from everybody. And it's not in the ABC charter either. The ABC charter...
I want to be part of this. I'm
Yeah,
going to take
go
a little
for it.
quick
Well,
break.
we can
to-
talk
I
about
just
it
have
later
to,
on.
Go.
quickly
Yeah.
say hello, good night to my daughter.
Yeah,
and I will come back.
Go for it.
But if you can,
just
keep
park
the ABC
Well,
criticism
we'll
going.
talk about the ABC later on.
But I don't mind. Anyway, we'll park that for a second.
Yeah, we'll park.
No, but like
We're getting into a bit of meat today. Your mate in Vietnam, he'd actually like
Greeny's
this.
a great man. I also want to just big
By
shout
the way,
out to
how are
T-Man.
our numbers going, Woody?
Going all right. I'll just big shout out to T-Man, a big shout out to Big Red. They've been listening. And Joe from Q and I booked in to go to the Sandown Greyhounds. And did you want to come in about 5 weeks on a Thursday night?
Oh, it's a bit hard after I leave my top rating.
Well, I'm happy to take you.
Well, what time is it?
Well, we're going to probably get there about 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Oh, it's too early for.
No, but you just roll
What's
in.
going on
whenever.
out there?
Oh, he's talking to
It's
his...
Seb talking to his daughter.
Ah, right.
How are you going, Toppy?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, life is good. Excuse me as I
did
open the
something bad
Pepsi.
today.
Yeah.
I stole a box of barbecue shapes.
Oh, from my drawer.
I'm going to have to... I'll repay it.
No, that's
tomorrow.
cool. That's cool. Now, yeah, of all the people at work who do occasionally dip into my junk food drawer, you're the only one who ever actually buys other stuff. You come in from time to time with a slab of soft drink or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you're welcome. That's
No
fine.
worries. I was just really... I don't know why I've just had a really bad eating week. I'm just hungry.
Are you still running?
Actually, I got a ticket to the Melbourne Marathon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run the Melbourne Marathon this year again. So, no, I'm all right, thank you.
That's in October, isn't it?
Yeah, October 10.
I used to cover that.
Well, because it would have started at Franger.
Started at Frankston, used to finish outside the Arts Centre.
Yeah.
And one year I did it in the 3DB Tadpole. Do you remember that, Simon?
The aeroplane.
The aeroplane. A pilot by the name of Bill Sir, wonderful guy. Mm-hmm. He took me up there because I had to go up once just to see if I could do it. Because it landed on the water, so he landed on the water, took off, landed on the water, took off. No problem. I remember when we were up there, I just yelled at him, "Oh, you ever had an incident in an aeroplane?" "Oh, yeah, when I was being shot at during World War II," because he was a World War II fighter pilot. Anyway, some years later, a plane, an air ambulance plane, crashed at Essendon Airport. The pilot and 5 people died, and he was the pilot.
Oh, really?
Bill Sir.
Oh.
And then there was the guy who recently died, Tony Hancock. He was the head of Ambulance Victoria.
Right.
Every year on that day, he'd post something on Twitter. And
Yeah, nice.
yeah. So that was Bill Sir. And then one year I did it in the 3MP helicopter.
Yeah.
And
I think you're calling, by the way.
The phone's ringing. Oh yeah.
Oh.
That was a mistake. That was a
Anyone important?
I did it in the 3MP helicopter. And the 3MP helicopter crashed after I...
Really? So hang on, you had a near-death experience.
No, well, it happened months after I'd...
Doesn't matter. That's pretty
In
amazing.
both... Well, one was
I
with
bet
the
he's
pilot.
sorry he pulled that cable out.
Yeah, I know.
One was with the pilot and one was with the helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, it's a very interesting segue because
So now that Seb's back, are we getting back onto
we'll talk
onto
about
the ABC and what it should be doing?
Yeah. Because I spoke to a friend, a mutual friend of ours today.
Who?
His name is Damien, and he reckons he could really fix the ratings at ABC
Damien
Radio.
would fix the ratings.
Yeah.
Radio. Put Justin Smith in.
Well, he reckons there's a base there. There's a good base.
What does that mean?
He reckons it just needs to be moulded, and the ratings would really spike.
I reckon there's a spot for you there, Woody, because you'd fit in.
Oh, here we go. I'm a centralist, mate.
You reckon he's a
I'm not
centralist,
like
Timmy?
you. You're.
No, I do actually. I think Woody's a good centrist. Because I sometimes go on rants and he pulls me back from time to time, particularly on social issues, identity issues. He sort of puts me straight.
Identity issues.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, I think, but I
And
can
sometimes I sometimes don't hear enough different perspectives. Sorry, Woody.
No, it's all right because I can see all perspectives. The older I've gotten, the more I've been able to just.
Rudy, you're 31 for goodness sake.
32. Yeah, but then I've lived for 32.
Lived what?
I haven't actually lived a lot. No, but like I feel
Your
like
breath still smells of your mother's milk.
You've got your cliche bank. Your cliches are a bit.
Hey, Darren Hitch made a career out of cliches.
Yeah. Well, don't get bitter, get better.
Oh, for goodness.
But ABC, let's talk about the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. So you're not happy with them. You haven't been.
Well,
happy
let
with
me put it this way. Four corners. I'm not happy with four corners.
I want to talk about this.
I'll tell you why I'm not happy
I've got a
with-
strong view on this. Can you talk about this?
Well, you might want to talk about some other area because of some issue that they've had with some guys done a story and fabricated
Fake
the story.
interviews.
Yeah, that's rubbish.
Fake
and
interviews.
That's terrible. And it just that's
On
sort
four
of-
corners.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to work for a show, a current affair, that used to get the shit kicked out of us quite a lot for supposedly being, pretty low rent, right? I can tell you, I've never been involved in a fake interview.
That's terrible.
Where these four corners put to wear something where they didn't know who it was and it turned out to be the journo's mate.
Yeah.
Pretending to be somebody.
How could they hire a guy like that?
Credit
in
to the
first
ABC's Media Watch for calling that out.
True.
Credit. The credit, Woody, it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Forget about credit.
But these things happen though. Look, there's different.
No, they don't
production
happen.
things.
Well,
they
it
don't.
does.
How long's Four Corners been around for?
Been around for a long time.
I think.
Yeah, and how many times has that happened?
Because there's different production teams and there's different production sets on each show. and
What
you know
I'm
that.
angry about Four Corners about is that we've had 12 years of big build in Victoria.
Yep.
We've had a $100 billion big build. And as I keep saying, Sebi, in what country, in what planet, in what universe... Woody, could you get me a glass too, please? Would that be okay? In what planet, in what universe would a $100 billion honeypot not attract corruption?
Yeah. Well, organised crime assembles around a pile of money.
Around a honeypot.
Yep.
All right, so I would have thought, even before it became an issue, that Four Corners would be digging around.
And I agree with that.
Leaving
I think
that
they should.
aside, when it did become an issue, do you think Four Corners has done anything on it? They've not done, I've been researched, they've not done one story about it. This is up their alley.
Seb, what do you think?
Well, I know why that is.
Why?
It's because the story was covered by 60 Minutes. So Nick McKenzie has been filing this for 60 Minutes and Four
It's been
Corners.
covered by 60 Minutes in the last 3 years,
Yeah.
not before that.
Well, I think it's a really interesting story. Like, let me say, first of all, Nick McKenzie, I think just first of all, and I don't have a personal relationship with him. I don't particularly like the age broadly, but if the government changes in November, Nick McKenzie has basically changed the government. His reporting on the big build issue.
He's the last bastion of that type of journalism, which used to be everywhere.
Yeah.
By the way, when I was doing Uber driving, I picked up someone who knew him very well.
Yeah.
But why do you think it's changed? Sorry, just to pull the point there. Why do you think it's actually change though? Like what? Because I think you could be like that, Seb. Well, I think you are like that, should I say, Seb? That you are a bastion of change and you're tenacious and all that sort of stuff. But why do you think it's not like that?
Because there's no money anymore.
But why?
No one's got the funding for proper investigative journalism.
That's right.
You can't pay teams of people for months on end to do an investigation to then do a story.
The saddest bit about that is the local leader dying off.
But in Nick's case, and this is, I guess, a clever allocation of resources by Nine. Some of it comes from the mastheads, The Age, and some of it comes from the television arm of the business in 60 Minutes. So he has a team of researchers, producers from 60 Minutes who are assisting him, and also support from other people in The Age. So yes, it's that investment in investigative journalism that makes it happen. Having said that, I think just this piece of work around the CFMEU is sort of historic. And probably the most important story of the last decade in Victoria. I think those in the press gallery, happy to name names if you want to, but who for the last 15 years showed up to every big build ribbon cutting ceremony with their hard hat and high vis vest and told us how wonderful it was, but never thought to look at the motorcycle gang member who was actually building the thing, or
because
why weren't they? But this is your point. Why weren't they? They were invited onto every big build site.
And that's why
nothing
I respect
to see here.
you about the AFL because I think the AFL is there is a lot of similarities.
Well, because they give you a press release and you do what they do. Now I know for a fact that
Can I ask you a
hang
question?
on. What am I saying?
Your processing.
The media is no longer interrogating the AFL. They're partners with the AFL.
This is what I don't understand. I wanted to ask you the question. There are prominent journos, very good journos, that work for the AFL now. Okay?
Damien Barrett, you're talking about, basically.
I don't understand that. I don't. Does that happen in any other sport
And that's
in the
not
world?
to say, I'd
that's
have to
nothing
go
against
through
him.
it and look at, I have a friendly relationship with Damo. We work together at Nine. I probably don't even need to preface it with that. But I think...
Do you think, Sebi, if Damien Barrett found corruption at high levels of the AFL, that he would use AFL resources and AFL website to report that?
Well, I'm going to give you an example. I don't disagree with the premise of the question. Having said that, I do know, here's just an anecdote. Craig Drummond, the chairman of the AFL Commission, was rolled out recently upon becoming chair to 3 major outlets for interview. Jay Clark did it for the Herald Sun. Can't remember who else, but Damien was one of them.
Was Jake Dole another one?
Might have been.
Yeah.
And they were told not to ask about Luke Sayers, and Damien, as the AFL's interviewer, ignored that and asked about Luke Sayers.
Well, good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him.
That's good.
But nothing should be
But
off. And no one should be saying anything about being told or whatever.
But I still
That should
don't
never
understand.
happen.
I do not understand how the AFL employs journos to do that. I don't get it. I just don't, because I couldn't tell you another sport. I could be wrong that occurs. Like I couldn't tell you. Like I don't. Think
The weird thing is, Woody, that in the AFL system, there are clubs.
Could be wrong.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying I could be wrong. But go on.
There are clubs. Most of the clubs have more people in their media department than media organisations have in their newsroom.
But this all goes back to the commission taking over control of the clubs back in the 90s because they had no money. So the AFL...
Just one club has more people in their media department.
I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. And I think the access that clubs give to journalism, to media for their players is really subpar.
Simon, have you lost interest?
Yes.
Oh, well, let's talk
Sorry.
about something that's interesting for Simon.
No,
What do you think about that?
I wasn't listening because it's football things. I go blank. I don't actually just process it. So I'm sorry.
Well, should we get back to
The CFMEU.
yeah? Well, or Operation Richmond.
Operation Richmond.
That was today. The UFU.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, you got the alarm going or something?
No, that's my daughter.
Oh, nice. I look, what surprised me about this today, so Operation Richmond is an IBAC inquiry that's been going for the better part of 8 years. It looks into whether there was corruption involved in a pay and conditions deal for firefighters under the Andrews government.
Wasn't corruption because it didn't meet the threshold for corruption, even though it was serious and what was the other term?
Yeah,
Serious and something conduct.
Yeah,
Conduct unbeknowing?
yeah. See, I know. Look it up if you can,
I'll
Woody.
find it out.
But a couple of things I found interesting about that is they didn't have to put a line in the report. IBAC didn't have to put a line in the report that said no corrupt conduct has taken place. They could have left the evidence as it was, and then
Serious and concerning.
and then allowed, law enforcement to decide. I think it's really interesting that for some reason IBAC has made a clear black and white judgment that there's nothing to see here. Not nothing to see here, but there's nothing that meets the threshold.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right when you say that.
They've chosen to put that in.
Yes, yeah. And that sort of feeds into what I've always thought. Lawyer X, we have this great big royal commission, blah, 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 blah. Bad things happen, really bad things happen. Perversion of the course of justice, which is the worst thing that can happen. No one held accountable.
But can I ask you a question about Royal Commission with what Jess Wilson posted on social media about those are the 25 people that should be? I don't think that was appropriate from Jess Wilson.
Why? Well, she broke the law?
It's got nothing to do with breaking the law. I just don't think it's... I don't think she needed to do that. Well, I think politically she didn't need to do that.
Why not?
Because...
Why? Because it's not an answer.
Who was she to come out and say who?
She's the opposition leader.
Yeah, but I don't think that she should be referring people. That has never happened in the history.
Says who?
What opposition leaders what opposition has referred people to the Royal
The
Commission?
opposition's not referring. The opposition.
That's what she was doing.
I'll tell you what the opposition says.
That's just
They're using it for political capital, all right, which is what the opposition should do and what the opposition always does. And if it was Labor in opposition, they would do the same thing.
And I think it misfired badly. And I would have a go at Labor for doing it. I don't think it's appropriate.
I think it's fair enough to say, well, let me put it to you this way. If Andrews and Jacinta Allen don't appear, what do you think of the Royal Commission?
Well, how can you have a Royal Commission if they don't appear?
Well, there you go.
That's just my understanding.
And that's the point they're making. So they've said, we want these 25 people to appear at least.
I hope if Dan Andrews does get called that he's not having memory issues on that particular day. He
had bad memory at the hotel quarantine inquiry.
I felt a bit sorry for him. He couldn't recall anything.
Because you're a political...
He wasn't the only one. Martin Pakula was...
you're a political nomad, obviously.
Creeping assumption.
What do you think about the whole corruption? Does it concern you, corruption in Victoria?
I honestly haven't read anything about it. I hear that it's going on and I go, it just doesn't hold.
How does that make you feel?
Doesn't make me feel anything. I love Simon.
Me too.
I live in a what I would call a safe space, a little bubble. The only things I have in my life are good.
But your politics is your religion, Tony.
That's not really.
Yes, it is.
And that's not to say that I don't think these things matter. I do think they matter. I can't do anything about it.
There's a quote from
Therefore,
Plato, Simon. I'm trying to remember the quote. Good men...
No, evil happens when good men do nothing, that sort of thing.
Something like that, yeah.
And that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But working in radio as I do and seeing, there used to be, we used to do a segment with Dennis, and now Carolee Katzenbarnes does that segment with Dennis. And the people who ring in outraged and upset all the time, good on them for caring. But I go, I just don't have the space in my life to care about things that I can't fix.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm
let
not.
me-
I
let me
don't
put
for a
it to
minute
you.
think that they're not
Let
important.
me put it to you, okay?
I just go, I'm going to leave it to everyone else to solve.
Well, okay.
And in the meantime, I'm going to be over here being happy, eating mint creams.
But we've got a $100 billion big build happening. And if someone...
Outside my window.
If someone... Outside your window.
Yeah, the Eastern Freeway.
And if someone said to you, Simon, we think $30 billion of that has gone to someone who shouldn't have got it. Mm-hmm. Okay, that doesn't bother you.
No, I'd say that's terrible. Hand me another Belmont, what's it called? Hundreds and thousands biscuit.
That's what you'd say.
That's what I'd say.
That must
It's terrible.
infuriate you, though. Because when I say your politics is your religion, I do mean that. I think you are very politically motivated and driven these days.
No, I just want to... Look,
So that comment
Simon,
he just said.
I've never really been like this, okay? Vocal in my anger, visceral anger that I've got.
No, this goes back to negative gearing with Bill Shorten. That's where I reckon it started. You were very vocal about negative gearing.
I was actually. Yeah, I was.
That's where I reckon that's where it triggered you.
Well, no. What triggered me? I'll tell you what triggered me. It first started when the previous government signed a deal to do the East-West Link. Yeah. And they decided, the new government decided, no, we're not going to build that. And they paid $1 billion not to build it.
Yes.
That lost me from the beginning. That's never happened.
Yeah, but that was their pitch, though. They said they weren't going to build it.
But they went into the...
They were not in a position...
This is one thing I do actually remember. So some stuff does seep in. They went into the election, the Labor government went into the election saying, we're not going to build it, but it's not going to cost us a cent. And it did. It cost $1 billion to not build it.
Yeah, and I hear this argument all the time, but they said they weren't going to build it. Listen, it wasn't their decision not to build it. When you have a duly elected government in power for a certain number of days, they have a right to make decisions.
Well, but did they not...
Hear me out. So they made the decision...
I can't believe I'm getting involved.
So they made the decision and they signed the documents. Mm-hmm. They had the legal power to make the decision and the legal power to sign the documents. They were not in caretaker mode and they signed the documents. So it wasn't for the Labor Party to say, once it had been signed, we're not going to do it, and then pretend that it wasn't going to cost anything, and then pretend that we didn't need it, because we do need it. Look at a map of Melbourne.
I drove through it the other day.
Look at a map of Melbourne. Where's the missing link when you've got all this going on?
Can I ask a question? Because my memory's a little bit off with this.
How long are we going tonight?
No, that doesn't matter.
We've done 1.5.
That's all right. I've got lots to talk about with Seb. 2014.
When do you want to go 3 hours or something? What do you think? You're Joe Rogan.
2014.
Yeah.
Why did the Libs not get up? What happened?
It was pretty close. One of the that's a very involved question. But one of the policies that did better than people expected, particularly in the sort of outer suburbs down the Monash through the Sandbelt, was the Andrews government, and it wasn't on the top of their agenda, but had a policy to legalise the UFC because there was a Victorian era law in Victoria that said something like, it is considered disgusting for two men to face combat within a cage fighting situation. And this law was removed and it allowed the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm fight to take place.
He was very clever, Andrews, because he got those guys.
Yeah.
He got the fishermen.
Yep.
He was going to spend all this money on boat ramps and all that sort of stuff. He crossed all his T's and dotted all his I's and did all those things. But the last, and even though you don't think this, Woody, all right, I'm not one side or the other. In fact, I think both sides need to be cleaned out as often as possible. I really welcome that. But the last 12 years in Victoria has been disaster. Disaster for things like accountability, disaster for debt, disaster in many
But people don't care about that.
areas.
They don't care about that.
They don't care about that.
What do you think Labor's won the last 3 elections? They don't care about that. I reckon Labor will get up again.
Maybe they will. They don't care about debt until they care about it, Woody. You know when they'll care about it?
When's that?
When you go to the hospital and there's not enough doctors to look after
But
you.
it's 100 billion right now. If they're not going to care at this election, when are they
They're not going to care until you go to the hospital and you can't be looked after because there's not enough hospital beds, not enough nurses, not enough doctors. When you ring 000 when there's not enough people taking the call, when there's not enough... when there's not enough ambulances coming to pick you up, when there's potholes on the road everywhere, when there's no police anywhere, when there's machetes everywhere and your family gets involved in that, that's when you'll care.
So why should I vote for Jess Wilson?
You vote for whoever you like.
No, why should I?
You vote for whoever you like.
Tell me what policies.
You vote for whoever you like, Woody.
No. Tell me why should I vote for
if you
Jess?
want one reason, it's because she's not Labor.
That's a garbage argument. You
No,
know
it's
that.
not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, because if you've got corruption, which we have, you need to clean it out.
But I need to know why am I vote? Why would I
Well,
vote
because
for Jess
the-
over
because-
independence or over the Sex Party, over One Nation? Why would I?
In the end, in the end, there'll be one of two things: one party or the other will win. The Sex Party will not be leading this state.
What a shame.
Are we talking about Keith McGowan again?
Yeah.
Okay, the Sex Party will not be leading this state.
Speaking of, I just got a text from my mate, Big Red. He's a great man. His mum is Louise Daniel, who worked with your dad for 6 years.
Okay, all right, there you go.
And
Going
speaks
to Big
very
Red.
highly of your dad.
Ah, nice.
Louise Daniel,
Yeah,
Big Red.
yeah, he's a great man.
I was
Have
going
we
to ask.
had any? Sorry.
Yeah, no,
sorry.
no,
I'm sorry. I apologise.
You're an interjector.
No, I'm sorry. I'm
You're
sorry.
just
I-
a little.
Uncomfortable.
Go for it.
So I was just, Simon, one of the things I loved at AW when I worked there was Nightline didn't sound like anything else you could find in Australia at the time. You know, it had a little bit of throwback. It had a little bit of Odd Couple. It had a little bit of couple of old codgers, rolling on.
Yeah.
What was it like to work with Bruce Enfield?
It was fantastic. It was frustrating at the same time, but it was fantastic. Bruce was a genius. No, actually, I take that back. If you ask anybody what they think of Bruce, they'll all say he was a genius. I say no, Bruce was a petulant child. But that was his genius. Bruce wasn't the most intelligent man in the room. He wasn't he wasn't the greatest brain. But my God, he was wonderfully childlike in his ability to just entertain. He didn't care if he was the butt of a joke. And he could, he'd pull a face, put on a voice, he'd do anything to get a laugh and to be entertaining.
Wasn't he good with stocks and market?
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about Shawnee earlier. Shawnee would be in there to see Hooksy and Healy doing Sports Today, or Jared and Dwayne as it ended up. And Shawnee would be sitting on the couch in the foyer while Bruce was waiting to come on air next at 8 o'clock. And so Bruce would be sitting there with the Herald Sun saying, I see Commonwealth Bank stocks are up again, Shawnee. Oh, is that right, Bruce? Oh, should I be buying them, Bruce? Well, I think you should, but you might want to sell the BHP shares first. Wonderful. And he just entertained Shawnee. As long as he had an audience, he was happy.
I used to love the bit where you'd play some music and maybe this was Remember When, and people would just randomly say something that had disappeared. So it would be like, the hills hoist, Vegemite,
Yes.
Hoddle Street.
I love the time.
Yes.
What was that?
It was over the intros to different songs and segments and things.
Yeah.
For Trask's Time Tunnel, we had a 30-second intro, and Phil put an end to it. I should bring it back. But we'd play the music, and Bruce would go, "Where were you when Farlap won the Melbourne Cup?
Right.
Where were you when Don Bradman scored a ton?" and it was just any Melbourne reference. And Phil, or where were you when
Victoria's coronation?
Where were you when Squizzy Taylor got shot? Yes, just wonderful nostalgic references.
But who came up with the idea of putting them together? Because that's a genius move.
It was purely by accident. So Bruce had been doing breakfast with Blackers and then with Darren James.
Yes.
They got flung in 1989.
Yes, and DJ was 27 or something.
Yeah, he was in his 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the panel operator for Blackers and Unker, and then they tried a few other people with Bruce. And none of
Gavin
them-
Wood was one.
Gavin Wood was one. John Michael was another, and it just didn't work out.
John Michael.
And so they just gave Darren the job. So that worked out well for Darren. So they got flung in 1989, and they went off to 3AK for a year. And then 3AK became an Italian-speaking station, and everyone got flung. So Bruce was out of work. At that time in 1990, Clark Sinclair and Neville Ragg were hosting Remember When.
Don't you love that name? Neville Ragg.
Neville Ragg and Clark Sinclair.
Oh.
And Steve Price and Dennis O'Kane were running the place at that time.
No, Dennis O'Kane and Steve Price. Dennis was the manager.
Dennis was the manager.
He had all the power, but he
Steve-
gave it to Steve Price.
Well, Steve Price was there as Neil Mitchell's producer, but Dennis O'Kane said, this guy knows what he's doing, so he got Steve to have
that was
discussions
his
as well.
big mistake. Because
No,
as a result of that, he got marched out of the building. His feet didn't even touch the ground.
no, that was because he overspent. But anyway, that's yeah. So they decided that Clark and Neville needed to move on. So they rang Bruce and said, because Bruce was suddenly unemployed, and they said, "Would you come back and do Remember When 6 hours on a Sunday night?" And Bruce said, "Yes, of course I can fill that easily. Not a problem in the world." And they said, "Righto, you're hired." Bruce immediately rang Phil and said, "I need your help. I've got 6 hours to fill on a Sunday night. I need some old show tunes and some old radio serials and songs and stuff that I can play because I've got to take over Remember When." And Philip said, "Oh, I'll happily help you out, buddy. I'll bring them in with me." And Phil inserted himself into the program.
Clever.
Nice
So
work, Brady.
so for the first couple of months, Phil wasn't employed at all.
Oh, really?
He just turned up each week with material for Bruce, and Bruce always worked so much better in a duo. So he'd just chat to Phil on air.
He did a Shane Healy.
Yeah.
Just refused to go.
And then Steve, exactly right. And then Steve Price said, "You know what? These two actually have something. They're
good,
actually pretty
yeah.
good."
It was so unique, you know. It
Yeah.
was a throwback, but it was funny. It was warm.
Yeah.
Were you there the night of the Timmy
Toby
Toby?
of Newport.
Have we talked about this on Tardio
No,
Unleashed before?
we need to.
It's probably the most famous piece of
the best.
Bruce and Phil audio of all time.
It was me who lifted that audio and
Yep.
sent it to a few choice people within the building.
Because it got dumped, didn't
and then
it?
it got outside the
Did
building.
it get dumped?
It got dumped. So I lifted
So,
it.
so this is where people don't understand. That audio didn't actually
didn't
go
go
to
right.
to air.
So it was a
a
talkback
pre-feed.
caller who rang up and told a pretty X-rated joke.
Bruce and Phil heard it,
yeah.
and their reaction to it
Yes.
is just magnificent.
If people want to look it up, just look up Toby of Newport on YouTube and you will find the clip. And someone's done a wonderful visual aid to it as well.
And there has been some attempt, has there not, to locate
Toby.
What happened there?
So Eddie Maguire on the Hot
all right,
Breakfast on Triple M.
Right.
Yeah, he actually launched the search for Toby of Newport.
Right.
And there were a couple of people who over the years came forth saying that they were Toby. None of them were.
Right. Was
None
one of them
were.
Tim Blackwell? I heard he was potentially
Yeah,
Toby.
he might have put his hand up to say
Right.
that he was, but
Yep.
but it wasn't. The only other time we actually heard from Toby was when Nightline got axed with Phil and myself. After Bruce passed away,
Yep.
Phil and I continued on for a couple of years, and then when we got axed, our very last show, I'm sitting there in the studio. Phil and I are doing the show, and on the screen, Bron was producing. On the screen, I see the names going up, and it says line 4. Toby, Newport, and then backspace, backspace, and it disappeared. Oh, no. And then about 10 minutes later, I see line 7, Toby, backspace. And I thought, oh, someone's ringing in, pretending to be Toby and Newport. Forget it. And then I get an email, and the email's submitted through the 3AW feedback form. So the email and phone number that people have to put in was just, they just filled it with rubbish. So they just had to fill the fields. And in the description, in the note, it said, "Hi, Simon, it's Toby of Newport here, the real Toby of Newport. I'm trying to ring through, but they don't believe that it's me. To prove that it's me, I've attached a picture. The picture is of a laminated article from the Herald Sun that was written about my call to you guys." It was given to me, it was laminated and given to me by my friend who was with me when I made that call. And then I look at the picture and sure enough, it's a laminated Herald Sun article about Toby of Newport. Now, who else is going to have a laminated Toby of Newport article but Toby of Newport? So I've said to Bron, that's the real Toby of Newport. It is actually him. So Toby rang again and we got him on air. So the only other time he was on air was that very last night.
And what did he say?
He came on and we said, your call was legendary. You know, Eddie Maguire launched a search for you on Triple M, which is Rosie Walton, I think, was the brains
Who was
behind.
the panel op and sort of fourth wheel of the hot breakfast.
Yeah, she just kept pushing it, and it was great.
And a
I
former
love Rosie.
call operator on Nightline.
Yeah, she worked with us on Nightline. And her father was a former 3AW programmer. Graham Walton. Yeah. So Toby comes on air. We have a chat to him for a minute, and I say, "Well, thank you so much, and it's so lovely you've called in on this last night." And he said, "I've got a joke for you." And I'm looking at the delay. The delay's built up. We're set. I've got my finger on the dump button, ready to go. And I said, "Okay, go for it, Toby." And he said, "What's the difference between a lentil and a chickpea?"
I do know this.
And Phil said, "I don't know." And he said, "I've never had a lentil on my face."
Yes.
This time, I let it go to air. I think that one was clean enough to go to air. But it was a classic Toby.
What did Phil say?
He didn't get the joke, which just made it even more special.
And, you know, I really actually don't want to peek behind the curtain, but did you ever get any more identifying details about Toby?
No. He's never contacted us again, and he's just disappeared again.
Toby, if you're out there.
Well, come in.
Yeah, well, come in, yeah. He must have been a young kid when he rang up the first time.
Yeah, he was.
Speaking of Eddie Maguire.
Or just before we go on to that, if you want, there is Toby of Newport merchandise. If you go onto, I think it's Redbubble, and type in Toby Newport, or just Google Toby of Newport T-shirt, somebody's made artwork of a can of anchovies, and it says Toby's Anchovies, Newport's finest. Which, when you know that original joke, is just gold.
What year did that happen, do you reckon?
2006-ish. I could look it up, actually. I can tell you.
If we did want to speak to Toby, do you think you could organise that, Simon?
No. He would have to be listening and ring in.
Okay.
And he would need to, again, verify that it's him. But yeah, they're the only two times he's ever called. And he's resisted every opportunity to actually reveal himself.
Did Philip tell him off the second time for the content of the original joke?
No, because Phil didn't understand it. So. Legendary stuff, though.
Bruce and Phil's reaction to what he said.
But it was actually quite a funny back end of that.
Well, that's the key to it. And this is, again, we talked earlier about the theatre of radio. Toby's joke was offensive, but Bruce and Phil's reaction over the next 60 seconds was hysterical. And that's what actually really makes that clip. Them saying, Keith McGowan's offended. That's how bad it was. And Bruce says, a couple of the Indian cleaners have gone home. Bill Howie's gone home and he doesn't even work. That's right. And Phil, don't you ever ring us again. That's disgusting. And that was what really made it funny. These days, if somebody says something offensive, most hosts on AW will dump the call and then just move on as if it's never happened.
Pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, get rid of that and then let's get on with the program. Revel in it.
They're magnificent.
You dump the call so it doesn't get to air, then you tell the audience how offensive it was, and the audience are all glued to the radio going, "Oh my God, what did we miss?"
And you've done what you had to do. You've put them on your side and said that you're against the other guy. See, that's all. He should be the program director.
That's a good shout.
They wouldn't pay me.
Do they have a program director?
No, I've got no idea. I've been listening.
Who would
since
sort of
last
take
year.
care of those content decisions?
It's an interesting conversation. I don't know.
I guess it falls to Stephen Beers as our general manager. We don't have a program director, so he's in charge. But I guess, and I'm not speaking here on behalf of management, but most of the stations in the network for a while sort of haven't had a program director as such. They always felt, it was particularly in Sydney, who's going to tell Alan Jones and Ray Hadley how to run their shows?
Alan.
Yeah, we don't have air checking. AM talkback hosts is not a thing like it is in the FM world.
Did you ever get air
So
checked?
it's sort of every host is their own program.
Did you ever get air checked?
Get air checked by who?
By management.
No.
When Clark Forbes did it, it was sort of like his job was sort of to kind of speak on behalf of the station when something scandalous had happened. So He ended up speaking quite a bit in those days.
on air.
Yeah, no,
no,
sort of to the
press,
newspapers
yeah.
and yeah.
Oh, right. You know what they used to have? They used to have a red book
Yes.
at the front desk. So when anybody rang up, that comment would be put into the red book.
Yes.
And Hinch made a big thing about the red book, which is a good idea. And then on a Friday, he'd read comments from the red book.
On air.
Yeah,
On air.
He would get the manager in, Mike Peterson, the same one who sacked Darren and Bruce. Mike Peterson would come in and read, and Darren would read out all the comments in the red book, all the complaints to the station. It was a ripper segment. We reintroduced that with Bruce and Phil. We had Graham Mott come in and we would do the red book. And it would be Ernie Sigley chews food while he's on air and we can hear it. And Graham would say, well, I'll have a word to Ernie about that. Yeah. And so it was all those sorts of things.
Yeah, see, that was great.
Well, Tony Bell put an end to it as the CEO or whatever his position was.
What's he doing now?
He decided that it wasn't. He didn't want the negative stuff going on
I
air.
remember Tony Bell, and he was a nice guy, Tony Bell, came into the newsroom, would have been about 1997, and I said, are we going to do anything with the internet? He goes, there's no money in the internet.
Is Clark Forbes still with us, Simon?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
right.
still
We should
alive
get
and
him in
kicking.
interview him.
Clark Forbes would be an interesting chap.
Yeah, we'll get him.
Program director that had to keep Mitchell and Hinch separate. He's also was a John Farnham biographer. Clark.
Really?
Yeah. He wrote a book on John Farnham.
And he was the ghostwriter for
The hairdresser,
Socialite.
Lillian Frank.
Lillian Frank's
Frank,
ghost.
Yeah, he wrote the
Wow.
gossip column.
What a guy.
for
So
Lillian.
it was Graham Mott running the station and he was the PD. Was that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, what happened? Tony Bell took over, and then he and Graham.
Because they used to call him Slasher, didn't they?
Slasher Bell. Yes.
And then he brought in Graham Mott, and Price was the program director.
That's right.
And then he went on air, and for a brief period he was the program director, and he was on air. And then when Price went to Sydney, Clark became the program director.
That's right.
Because Clark was Mitchell's executive producer for before that.
And then they sent off. I've forgotten who the guy in Perth they sent. But
John Sylvander.
John Sylvander to program.
He
Perth.
was Steve Price's producer, and he
Steve
went off as
Price thought
program
he'd
director for.
McDonaldized radio. These guys had to do what he said they should do.
But
Yeah,
didn't
he said Paul Dowsley was sent
To
to
Brisbane.
4BC to be
So he
program
ran
director
4BC.
there. Paul Dowsley did. He did one of the greatest stunts in 4BC's history. He decided to go into daylight saving time on 4BC.
Early. Because they don't have it in Queensland.
Because they don't have it in Queensland. So the whole station was out of whack with the state it was broadcasting to for a whole day. It was a great publicity stunt.
I've got to say, while we're talking about Paul, he's doing an excellent job as the state political reporter for Channel 7 at the moment.
Well, I've been saying on Twitter that he's the only one really asking the hard.
Did you know him much?
I rang him the other day to try and get him on the Italian show.
What did
as
he
well.
say?
Oh, he was too busy to do something. So I remember when he worked at. He was a young kid back then.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. Was he 19? 20
You would have to say he'd be in the most amazing media stories.
He should do a book. You know, one of his first big moments was Steve Vizard's Tonight Live. He did a work experience show where they got work experience people to do all the roles. Paul Dowsley hosted the show. He was a teenage boy, and he came in
on the
and
Vizard.
hosted Tonight
And
Live.
that was 5 nights a week?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think it was just the one night
As
they
in,
did a work
but
experience
the show at the time was a 5 night a week Letterman style.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because
right.
you got that, then you had 4BC, AW, 4BC.
AW4BC. Then he went on to be Kyle and Jackie's first ever producer.
Wow.
Yeah, when
Breakfast.
they teamed up.
And then he was outside the CFMEU and got hit on the head with a
With urine.
well, it was a can of urine.
The can, yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
And then he was the shebang, was it, for a bit? Triple M, he came back to Melbourne.
To produce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I can't remember that, but yeah.
Speaking of Triple M, by the way, how long were you at the M's for?
About 6 or 7 years.
What's your thoughts on the Triple M Channel 7 thing?
You've done a lot for a 23-year-old.
You have.
Thank you.
You have done a lot.
I'm still on work experience, so this is what I'm here for, isn't it? In terms of like the merger, that Southern Cross Austereo
Yeah.
broadly and 7 West Media. Look, I think as much as diversity of voices is important in media, we're a country of less than 30 million people, and to have strong media businesses, I think you do need to have corporations that have different platforms working together. I think, Seven is, is a much smaller business than Nine, so they did need to kind of acquire some assets to grow. I think Nine's, now I'll get this wrong, but at least before the merger, Nine's revenue was 3 or 4 billion and Seven's was 600 million. So
Really?
they're
Wow.
very,
That's a big deal.
they're very different
My goodness.
businesses. Yeah, and Nine, the reason for that is because of Stan and Fairfax and.
Stan was
Yep.
an amazing success story for Nine.
Yep.
And a great loss for 7 and 10. Because you know what Stan stands for? 7, 10 and 9. The original idea was that all of them would get together and put all of their online digital content in the one platform and they would share it. And then 7 and 10 both pulled out and 9 was left holding the baby. And it's gone
With
on
Fairfax
to be
too.
quite
Yeah,
a
yep.
huge success.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and also Domain, because, they were never into the realestate.com. That went to Murdoch. So that's what's kept them afloat. The Age and stuff, they would have fallen over years ago without all those.
Well, there's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of, right across the industry, the digital thing blindsided a lot of people who thought, no, this is our bread and butter. We don't want to get into that. So, remember the Saturday Age used to, if someone broke into your house, you could clobber them with
was
the
that
Saturday
big.
Age
It was
and
that
they'd never
big.
walk again.
Yeah.
Now, all of those classifieds have gone. So if the Age had set up a car sales website, a real estate
They
website,
would have cleaned up.
they would have cleaned up and dominated all of that stuff. But car sales took off, Domain and all of those things.
I'll ask all of you this question. I'll ask you first, Seb. What's your predictions in the next 5 years in that sort of legacy media? What do you reckon will happen? Do you reckon there's still a medium for it?
Yeah, there is. I guess I don't want to come across as an expert. I'm a
I
story.
would classify you as someone informed.
I'm a storyteller,
Informed.
so I'm not. Yeah, look, I'm telling you what I'm told, not what I observe necessarily.
Who's
Does that
telling
make
you?
sens?
Who's telling you this stuff?
Just different people
Yeah,
around
right.
the industry.
Absolutely.
But I think you hear people say that legacy media at the moment is a game of managing decline. But what that means is, they'll continue to employ and be businesses. They will just be smaller businesses than they once were. You saw that with the
How much smaller can you get to the point where it's just not worth? In the old days, if something happened in Melbourne, you'd switch on the news and you'd listen. If you don't really have news here and it's coming from somewhere else,
It's got to take people who believe in it too. What's the old economic line? How much is something worth? How much someone's prepared to pay for it. So, if you go in and you believe in what you're selling and you have a very, strong, aggressive sales strategy, I believe that, traditional media can survive. But one of the things I have heard over the journey is that the third commercial TV license
Channel 10.
might be lost in the future of
That'd be
television.
very sad.
Yeah, I think there's a view that in terms of linear TV, the market will only sustain, 2 networks. This is maybe 10 years down the road, but I think that's something that's
Because
being discussed.
free-to-air football's the one, and cricket, I'm really interested to say, I don't reckon that's got super long left.
Yeah, well, that's a fascinating conversation, isn't it? Because the AFL are hell-bent on increasing the amount they get for the broadcast deal every time they do a new deal.
Yeah.
And they have pushed free-to-air probably as high as it'll go, but you have a product that the vast majority of your customers still access for free on free-to-air TV. And you might be able to get a larger broadcasting fee to put it behind a paywall on a subscriber-based service.
You would, yeah.
But your viewership will take a big hit initially. and possibly
that's the
possibly
balance,
permanently. Yeah. Footy goes behind. I mean, look. What do you think, Simon? I think broadly, I'm sorry, Simon, we're going to lose you for the next break.
No.
But I think broadly, footy is on the nose a bit.
I think so.
I really do.
Look, I don't think footy will ever. It'll keep getting stronger. I mean, it's just too ingrained in.
It's too tribal,
in
but I
everything. Yeah.
Stronger.
But whether it's reached its peak,
I reckon it's reached its peak. I dead set reckon. I'm really nervous about, and I'm putting my footy hat on here. I'm really nervous about the Tasmania coming in. I'm very nervous about it. I'm very nervous about the AFL talking about going to 24 games. That's too much. I'm really worried about grassroots football.
Can I ask, why is 24 as opposed to 22? Yeah. Why is 2 more games too much?
Because the
it's not just 2 games though. It's 24 rounds.
It's 24 rounds, so it's like we're talking weeks.
So we're talking another 40 games.
Yeah, another 2 weeks. Each team playing another 2 games.
But what I'm talking about, like it'll keep starting a little bit earlier.
The season will be March through till October.
Yeah.
You know.
But from 22
and they've added an
rounds
extra
to 24
week.
to me just sounds like, well...
No, but like you got to look at the
You could shorten what if you shorten the finals by a week?
No.
Go back to
Well,
a
they've
top
added
4.
a week to the finals.
Yeah,
we now have a wild card week.
Well, that's what they want. They want to keep that interest going all year because, if you're a team that's down the bottom.
Well, so last year, right? I think it was about round 18. I'm going to say round 18, 19. It was if you were in the bottom 10 and you played a team in the top 8, it was 0 to 37. So 37 times the teams in the top 8
would win.
But and so all of a sudden it's too many dead rubber games.
Yeah.
And the interest isn't there and people get burnt out. So they add an extra 2 games. You're adding more tolls on the players.
And if your team's down the bottom, it's another 2
It's
weeks
like,
of
look at
watching
it.
your
It's
team
actually
lose.
really sad. I'm a Carlton member.
So
it's
should they go the other way then? How many teams will there be with Tasmania in? 17?
18, but they're not going to
18 teams?
They should, but they're not.
Why don't they just do 17
19,
rounds?
yeah,
19?
Well, then
So why not do 18
They
rounds?
don't make as much money, Simon. There's less
Yeah,
games.
sorry, 19. Yeah.
It's all about how much
So it's
money
bad
they
to
can
add
make.
2 more, but we can't take
Well,
away
no,
3.
it's good for them to add 2 more because they make more money
I'm
initially.
talking about the.
But then it pisses people off, and you kill the goose that laid the golden egg.
And I think Mike Sheehan makes his observation is that additional teams has reduced the quality of the product.
100% it
Because
has.
a 12 club team meant that there were 40 times 12 players playing AFL,
and the commercial sponsorship.
right? And now there's hundreds of extra players making it to that elite level who can't be as good.
Do
as
you
they used
reckon
to
it's
be.
a good game to watch now?
It's missing mud.
I'd tell you
I
what.
agree. Like if
Bring
say
back
you're
the
at the
mud.
pub and there's a 1993 match, Gary Ablett kicking 14 and Paul Salmon kicking 10, and a 2025 match, ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Well, the mud gave it a character.
It did.
Yeah.
I loved it back in the day when I did occasionally watch it with my mates. I loved it when you couldn't tell which team the players are on because they just caked in mud.
But I will say this. Being a Carlton man, obviously Essendon and Carlton aren't the best of friends. It is a tragedy watching Essendon at the moment. I watched them last Sunday. It is a soulless football club. I even went past the hangar the other week and I thought, how are they here?
What were you doing going?
Well, I was dropping someone off at the airport and coming back.
Yeah?
And
Are you
I
an
just-
Uber driver?
No.
He pulled over on Melrose Drive and just took a piss on Essendon Oval.
But you got 14,000 going to a game. You got 20. They're playing on at 4:40.
Oh, we're
on
off.
Sunday.
What's going on there?
Oh, no, hang on.
Oh, I think that's the...
No, we're still going. It was just the
Screensaver.
it's the screensaver kicking in because we've just clocked 2 hours.
Is the battery of the thing going flat?
But do you know what I mean?
Not
Like,
much
so what I'm
left.
saying is, it's like I think it's really concerning for the bottom sides like Essendon with Tasmania coming in to really reset and restore as a football club. And I think football overall as a brand, as you say, I'm really concerned about it too. And I think that you watch Richmond West Coast, I watched highlights of that game. It's not enjoyable to watch. And I'm not saying that every game needs to be a name a game, but there needs to be like that. If you got 19, and the Tassie thing has, I actually commend Sam McClure because he's really gone hard at Tasmania. A lot of people have said you've got to be in your bonnet, Sam, about it, but I think a lot of what he has to say has got a lot of merit to it.
Yeah, totally. Personally, I don't like taxpayers' money, being spent on commercial enterprises like professional sports.
I don't think Sebby's been on, has he?
No, that camera's I don't know how long ago that camera died. We're back now.
But just interestingly, one of the things that came up while we were having this discussion was, I remember when AW decided not to take Thursday games and put Dennis on, and I actually thought that was a really smart counter-programming move because if, the other AMer, SEN and Triple M and probably 3LO, I'm not sure, are doing football and you're looking for talk, if AW is the one zigging when everyone else is zagging, it sort of made sense to me.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you don't take football seriously, you leave the other stations that take football seriously to get all the callers, to get all of the...
But I don't know who's tuning into traditional radio on a Thursday night as their choice of where to access football.
Because Thursday night's not a going out to a pub sort of thing. So you'd be at home watching it on the telly, I would imagine, if you were interested in the game.
Yeah. And I'm not a big Thursday night footy guy. I mean, it's here to stay, but
footy?
hate it. That's the worst.
It's not.
Yeah?
Shocking idea. Because Monday you start the week. So it's always in my brain, Monday's your review day. Like you're talking about the weekend, you're reviewing the game. Tuesday, Wednesday you sort of have off. And then Thursday's like, excited for the weekend, you're previewing, you got the teams that come out, and then Friday's the weekend starts.
So you need that gap.
Yeah, but we don't have the gap anymore. The gap's dead.
Every game on a Saturday afternoon.
I'm with you on this. Speaking of Dennis Walter, Dennis is the subject of my unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
You know that thing where you have to express an unpopular opinion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My unpopular opinion is that Dennis Walter's version of the Ship song is better than Nick Cave's.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Are
I
you?
reckon that-
Thank you,
truly
Simon.
do.
Give me some of that.
It is.
I think it's
a
excellent.
fantastic song.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Dennis Walter at his best.
Well, it's not so unpopular then.
No, we'll come up with something else that's unpopular. What do you come up with something that's unpopular?
I think I've been pretty unpopular tonight.
Yeah, you have been, actually.
Well, just a couple of closing things. I wanted to ask, we talked about Eddie Maguire before, just a real quick one. I heard a whisper recently that before Hinch got appointed at the Drive show, was Eddie in the mix to get that time slot?
I don't know, but if I were in management, which of course I'm not, I would have been talking about it.
I heard.
I would have been throwing that name around. Absolutely.
I heard there was a whiteboard, and the three names on the whiteboard were Maguire, Hinge,
Woodward,
McCallum.
Oh,
I reckon McCallum was right in the mix for that shift.
No, I don't think...
Because he just got back from America.
Well, I know that he was told that they weren't going to have someone left wing.
Yeah, but I think he was in the conversation.
Yeah, right.
Well, can I tell you a Nick McCallum and Drive story? And I'm sure it's okay for me to tell this story now. Back when Steve Price was announced...
Bless you.
Steve Price
didn't spray everywhere there, did you?
Social distancing.
Steve Price was announced back in end of 2001 that he was going to Sydney to take over from Alan Jones, and I was panelling Drive, and Nick McCallum was filling in over the summer.
Nick McCallum.
Nick McCallum, he was filling in over summer, and Graham Mott's secretary, I can't remember what her name was at the time. She came down and handed us... No, it was before Nick. Handed us a press release and said, we've just put this press release out. And it announced that Stan Zemanek was coming to do Drive on 3AW the next year. I've said, oh, great, can we run with this? And she said, no, Graham said not to. Don't mention it. We've sent the press release out, other media will cover it. And I said, so Graham doesn't want us to break a news story that is our news story on our news and current affairs station. And she said, oh, well, no, he just said don't do it. So I waited till the next break and I ran up to Motty's office and said, we've got to announce it. This is our story. How can we not announce it? And he said, oh, okay, fair enough. So I've run back down the stairs. There's about 20 seconds to go on the ad break. I've thrust the form into Nick McCallum's hands and said, read this, Nick, breaking news. And he picks it up, and as he started looking at it, I said, Stan Zemanic's doing Drive next year. And he looked over the top of it and said to me, I was supposed to see Motty this afternoon about applying for the job.
My heart breaks.
Yeah. So he then had to go on. He was all set for his interview about applying for the job. So he missed out on that.
But you know what? Motty saw you and thought, great, I don't have to break the news to him. Simon Owens can do it.
Well, Sebby, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here with us.
It has been a joy.
It has been a real joy. And Sebby was on the Italian station the other day, and you were fantastic.
I'm expecting a Batocchi ham at some stage, Tone.
Well, I'm expecting one too. So
if there's any legal issues to come out of tonight's podcast, Seb Costello is your man.
It. And if you've got any, in all seriousness, if you've got any tips or anything, look up his email, which is, we'll put in the blurb and all that sort of stuff, because he's always open to news tips.
Simon?
We've had quite a few. I'm terribly sorry. Do you want me to quickly read?
Well, normally you go through the comments.
Yeah, no,
This is the red book, isn't it?
Seb's so interesting, I've been distracted. What do we go back with? Tony, which airline do you fly with so we can avoid? That's after you talked about your helicopter crash.
Well, normally I fly Qatar, or Etihad.
Tony should have been given a proper farewell from 3AW. Came as a shock to most loyal listeners. Absolute legend. Simon Owens is great too. That actually says that. I'm not just
Simon Owens is great too.
You are great.
I agree.
I'm glad I wrote that comment. Hell yeah, Pepsi. Thank you, son, for that comment. Great show, guys. How can we tune into your drive show, Tony?
On the same thing. You just tune on to...
onto this, Tardio Unleashed.
Tardio Unleashed. Or you download the Ret Italia app, or you get Il Globo TV.
Excellent. Totally right, Tony. I don't know what that was in relation to.
That would have been about Woody's left wing situation.
It all comes down to the money, says Blue Yonder.
Yep.
Again, I should have read these as they were coming through. Royal commissions all depend on the terms of reference. Look at how off the track the Bondi Royal Commission is.
Yep.
Voters care about it when it's too late. That's about the debt, I assume.
Yeah, that's you, Simon. You don't care about it.
Yeah.
You won't care about it until you get started off the hospital.
It's not that I don't care. It's about I don't have space in my life to worry about things I can't fix. So leave it to the people who can fix it.
That's when Sebby, bad people take advantage of your inability or your unwillingness to get involved in some way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I completely understand that, but I am just one. And
we've been through that.
And if nobody was interested, there would be no such thing as talk radio.
What if we did a Remember When segment about the Andrews government? So you could sort of go, the Commonwealth Games, high interest repayments, UFU super deals.
You got to stay home. You got to stay home.
Oh, yeah.
Our good mate David.
Get on the beers.
David in Israel says people need a voice. Tony Radio, but I think he means Tony Tardio, and Carolee are voices of the people.
He's a good man.
They let people express themselves and say what the people need to say. It's almost like therapy.
He's a good man, David. Yeah, well, it is because if you can't,
he needs more therapy. This guy.
If you can't release the valve,
He's bitter.
No. He just needs to get in touch with
I got a
us.
text from someone saying, good on you, Woody, for calling him out.
Who called you? Who sent you the text?
His nickname's the Paddle Pop Line.
Who's the Paddle Pop Line?
I'll
Big
say-
Red.
No, it's another mate of mine.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Matt says, what about the anchovy joke on Nightline? That was Toby of
Thank you,
Newport.
buddy.
We explored that extensively. Yep.
David again in Israel, your talents lie in very different, beautiful ways, which, as you know, I love. You two are the voice of the people, but in a very different way. You relax, entertain, and calm people. Both things are necessary.
But there's four of us here. Who's he talking about?
No, that would have to be about me.
Yeah, it would be about you.
I think so.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
He's the positive.
Simon Owens is a good storyteller. Thank you, son. That's very kind.
He's a good. I said last week that was his forte.
He's clever.
A classic call. Don't know what that is. Toby is also Neos from Port Priest on YouTube. I don't know that, but thank
Jeez,
you.
we've had a lot of comments.
We've had quite a few.
Sebby, I think you brought in all these extra people.
The theatre of radio has gone. Yeah, we've got 26 people watching right now.
Holy
We've
shit.
never had more than about 12.
When we've been going for 2.5 hours and we've still got 26 people.
Yeah, I know.
They
Aren't you
might
bored
have
yet?
died watching
Get
this.
a life. Come on.
Hello to Carmen and Queenie. And
You could have done an entire show about Keith McGowan and his calls, especially the Mercury in retrograde lady he would leave on hold as she continued talking to herself. I think that was Margaret, wasn't it? Margaret of West Heidelberg.
West Heidelberg. She played the organ.
Legend.
Yeah.
Got to have the right people presenting, then legacy media will survive. There should be more free-to-air football. AFL is Australian Football League. It's a sport, not a business. People have a right to see it. It's reaching a peak only because the AFL is playing it like a money business.
I agree.
Four Corners needs to investigate that. There you go. Love having William Catt on the show.
Who's William Catt?
William Catt was the star of The Greatest American Hero,
Oh, that's you.
which is the T-shirt.
Peter Jackson.
how did the
This jacket is, yes, Peter Jackson suit, yeah.
how did the song go on The Greatest American Hero?
Believe it or not, I'm walking on it. We did an episode where Woody sang a song. We should do
Yeah,
that.
well, why don't we
week
sing?
should be
Why don't we
songs.
all sing a song now?
No, because it's. I know
What do you want to sing?
Oh,
And that's pretty much it for the comments.
How about
That's life.
That's life.
That's
We
life.
should get Bobby
That's
Valentine
what all
on.
the people
He
say.
was good, wasn't he?
You're riding
Wasn't he a
high
great
in
singer?
April,
Shut down in May.
But I'm, what is it? But
I'm gonna change my tune when
I'm back on top in June.
Back on top in June. That's life.
That's life.
That's
No,
life.
but we should
And
really.
as funny as it may
We should get
seem.
Bobby Valentine on.
Some people
Keep
get
going,
their
Seb.
kicks
He's very good, Sam.
stomping on a dream.
Yeah.
Something.
God, that brings back so many memories.
Doesn't it?
1980.
Even the organ at the start.
In the lead up, one last story from me about Darren Hinch and that particular theme. So when he was doing Nightline in 2000, and I was his panel operator that year, going into the Easter break, Darren was quite concerned about the road toll.
Yes.
And wanted everyone to drive safely.
Really happy, fluffy stuff for Nightline.
So we're fading up the theme at the end of the show. It's heading towards midnight. You can hear Frank Sinatra singing away, "That's life," blah, blah. And he sings that line, "I'm going to roll myself up in a big ball." And as he's singing that, Darren's saying, "Stay safe on the roads. We don't want any accidents. Good night."
Thank you, Mother of the Rabbits.
And die. And that was the end of the show.
On that note, good night.
Sebby
everybody.
Costello.
Seb Costello.
Woody Woodward. Simon Owens. I think this has probably been one of the best episodes we've done.
Oh, mate.
Of all of the 80 that we've done, I think this is number 80, Woody.
It is episode 80.
This little podcast that started 2 years ago has remained little. But it doesn't matter.
Good night.
Ciao. Ciao.
God bless.
How do I stop it?
Yeah, stop it because I don't want
Okay, here we
people
go. I'm
watching me in
about
here.
to hit the button. Bye-bye.